Sometimes the person is not thinking about these things. They're the ones that are the happiest in the moment. Like you see those guys where they're almost clueless, but they're completely aware of what's going on around them, and they're taking control of the situation.
Why not once a year and give yourself, I would call it, a dose of real reality? I mean, like where nothing makes sense but everything works.
Like we do have a need to get together more, I guess, as a people.
Molly made me feel like I could connect with anyone about anything. In conjunction with the mushrooms, I felt like I was one with everything. It was a bad time, but very, very enlightening.
Ah.
We must have a high tolerance for chaos. Learn to embrace the flow.
Forgive all that we can't forget. Regret nothing we can't let go. For despite what we have learned, infinitely more we do not know.
So let us tune our frequencies
Until lunar vibrations grow. Let's pretend that it never ends.
And now, it's time to start the show.
Welcome to the Opus Marcus podcast. Goddamn, these are the hardest parts of the podcast to do. You get everything else done, it's all edited, and you realize, I need to have a little vocal intro. I mean, I don't need to have a vocal intro, but let me just orient you. I am your host, Marcus Aurelius. You are the audience, not Marcus Aurelius, and this is episode 12. Okay, here's the agenda. First, we're going to check in with my brother Mike. Then, we're going to test your ability to pay attention with a 5-minute dialogue. And then, we're going to dive deep into a conversation, an amazing, excellent, wonderful, engaging conversation with Carl Lee Lands II, Jr. And I keep thinking that I should go back and re-record everything that I just said and not use the first things that came out of my mouth, but fuck it. Let's just keep going. And so, here he is. You've heard him once, you've heard him twice. This is his thrice. Let's check in with Brother Michael.
I really don't have much for you guys this week, but I have a recorded conversation with my counselor and I think you guys might enjoy. It's kind of funny, actually. And you'll see what I deal with on a weekly basis. So here we go, Charlie and me. Tuesday, what's the date?
Tuesday the 26th.
Tuesday the 26th at 5 p.m.
But if you can do a little bit of that thing which I said,
Oh, I have the whole packet done.
No, that's when we meet we will. But today's paper, try.
I will. I will. When I get home from the gym tonight, I will, because I'm going to be wired and bouncing all over the place.
And also get your friend, I don't know how anything happened to them. We'll talk more when we meet next week. Did he get kicked out or did he, roommate situation?
Oh, yeah. I'll explain to you. That's going to be an interesting conversation. We'll save that for the meeting. How's that sound?
But I know you will deal with that, but I know because you talked about it, probably you were able to deal with it a little better than otherwise.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But at the time, you were allowing it to consume you, but you haven't said anything since then. So I'm thinking, what is...
Yeah, Charlie, you're awesome. Your intellectual level is just, profound right now. It's great.
We are all connected.
Yeah.
You mean like the perspective.
Right.
When you look at quantum physics.
Everything's alive. These walls and the trees and, yeah.
energy and matter. Your energy, energy.
Awesome, isn't it?
But sad part is to get to that understanding. It takes years and it takes a lot of trials and tribulations.
Yeah, very
Once
true.
we know, then it's not much difference. It's not. It's like one energy trying to help another energy to have a better frequency of flow.
You got it.
So hang in there.
Until next time, I have great news to report. The judge overseeing my case has put me on the all-star list, whatever the fuck that's supposed to mean. It's actually for good behavior within the program, but what it means for me is I get to visit my mother and brother for Christmas. Granted, I don't screw anything up between now and then. And South Florida is just, getting back to normal after Hurricane Irma. Clean up and whatnot. I guess almost everybody's back to power, but shout out to Puerto Rico. Mad love. Sorry about what's going on over there. Again, it wasn't that bad here. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people without power, and for some reason, we had power. I even got to watch football on Sunday. It was great. But yeah, cleanup's been pretty intense. So yeah, it's like almost at the end of another season, so we're cool there. I actually have a quote here for you guys that I heard today. It goes like, opportunity looks a lot like hard work. That was actually Ashton Kutcher, believe it or not. Yes. Opportunity looks a lot like hard work. I actually really like that one. And there's another one that I read last night. And it goes a little bit like this. If you're thinking about the past, you're depressed. If you're thinking about the future, you're anxious. But if you're living in the moment, you're at peace. Yeah, there was something I was talking to my counselor about today. It was in reference to subatomic physics. And it's a little like this. Take, like the largest animal in the world, right? Well, like a whale or something like that. And you take that whale and you see how big it is, mass, matter, and so forth. But then you start to tune into that microscopically, and then what do you have? You have the atom. And you would think that the smaller you go, the weaker things would be, but it's not like that. The atom is actually very powerful. You look at the atom bomb, that's what happens when you try to split one. And you go even deeper into that, and you've got your subatomic particles, quarks, and whatnot. Now, if you take the atom, I believe it is 0.1201% of that atom is actually matter. Okay, now think about the relation to how tough that atom is with only 0.1201% matter. Okay? Well, what's left over? Empty space? No, it's antimatter. What is antimatter? I mean, it's so hard to comprehend that something on such a subatomic level could be so powerful, but it is. But, I'm not a physicist, and I certainly can't really continue this conversation without having some materials in front of me. I just wanted to share that little piece with you guys, give you something to think about. So, that whole 99 whatever percent that's left over, that's just, empty space. But it's really not empty space, right? It's energy. It's a part of our lives. I mean, take it into the relation of what our brain can do, right? So, in essence, everything that we do, see, feel, think, whatever, is only at 0.1201%, right? What else is there, right? That's the unknown. Therein lies the relationship between science and spirituality. I mean, as of this decade, it's proven now that there is relation, and there it is. And therein lies the answer to everything, which in and of itself is unfathomable in our third dimension reality. But before I get on and on and on and on and on, we could save that for another time. Just wanted to hit a couple topics. But yes, you know, the relationship between science and spirituality, we have found the link. I also wanted to briefly touch upon the links between different wave or sound frequencies and what they do to your brain. You know, and I've been trying some of these, you know, and you go on YouTube and you look this up, wavelength, say that 3 times fast, frequencies, and you know, it'll pop up all different kinds, like 417 hertz, you know, brings you total peace and relaxation. There's theta, gamma, you know, all different kinds. I don't have them in front of me. I'm actually sitting in an Uber right now. Oh, I'm sorry, man, Lyft. I'm sitting in a Lyft right now, just trying to get some of this info in for my deadline from Brother Mark. But yeah, there's, you know, wave frequencies for to get rid of fear. There's wave frequencies for you know, getting yourself psyched up that you would listen to in the, you know, in the morning before you go to work or whatever. You know, there's all different kinds. Of course, there's also ones that create fear and sadness and depression and so forth. Aside from that, I hope everybody's safe. Take care. Mad love. And goodbye.
Okay, so this is a short story, actually a short dialogue, between a student who is learning how to create its own universe, and its final project is being graded by its peers, its mentors, its teachers. So let's see what this entity receives for its final grade.
We have examined your peers' current knowledge carefully, and only have a few final questions before submitting the grade. Are you ready to begin?
Yes, teachers.
Very well then. Tell us what comprises your universe.
The inherent structure is quantum mosaic, a hologram matrix infused with non-local connectivity.
And how have you resolved the problem of multiple realities?
All realities exist simultaneously and converge in singularity as the universe climaxes.
Very clever.
The generating principle is conscious life. Universal inhabitants undergo a series of evolutionary patterns from non-conscious material awareness to total infinite spiritual awareness.
You have mastered the fundamentals. Now, tell us your function of time.
Time creates a flummox loop through which all conscious entities must pass. It divides the simultaneous instant into near-infinite vectors, each capable of being perceived in different modes according to the entity's perceptual apparatus.
Such as this notion of yours, linear time, in which you say the human species, while constantly existing in simultaneous awareness, will, at the pre-conscious level, separate itself into different ego entities. Each entity will have a separate vision of the past, a mirrored image of the present, and a shared vision for the future.
Yes, those are my words.
This is what troubles us.
Time troubles you, teachers?
No, not time. You're working with time and you're just a star in your mother's universe. It's these humans you've created. You're obsessed with them. In fact, the entire second half of your project is solely devoted to Earth.
Everything hinges on humans.
Hinge? We do not hinge in this corner of creation. The quality of your entire universe and the dreams of this species is bold and brazen.
Humans exist as metaphor. Every species in the universe will undergo the same evolution, but in different forms. Humans are special because they are truly alone. Right now, their dimensional level is such that they can barely see past their own planet. When they do get close enough, all they see are lifeless bodies, empty burning stars, rocks and gas, and nothing else into infinity. Meanwhile, on every other vibratory scale along the spectrum, they are being watched, visited, nurtured, and educated.
Yes, that's all well and good. You certainly have an idea of all in your universe. You are preparing your final grade. B+.
But why?
Your craftsmanship is ubiquitous. You are an above-average omnipotent worthy of self-referential praise. However, you fail to resolve the genesis you've introduced here. Remember, each universe we create becomes a living entity in a great chain of being. You are responsible for your creation. If you cannot care for it properly, then its inhabitants will have to care for it themselves.
But I addressed this very point in...
Indeed, by endowing every single evil entity in your universe with the power to imagine and create their own universes from a... what do you call it?
The brain.
Yes, the brain. You take us for a fool. If every living being created its own universe, what would we do then? Just tune out and blow orgasms at each other for all eternity?
Teachers, if everything is one with the great chain of being, then how can my creation be flawed?
It is not flawed. It is incomplete.
I do not understand.
Ambition clouds your conclusions. Nevertheless, you are ready for your first assignment. You will reside as the god body of this universe you have created.
But, teachers, I did not know that my first assignment would be to my own creation. Had I known, I...
Wouldn't have rushed it? You will do well in this universe, for this universe is you, now and forevermore.
Yes, teachers. Thank you, teachers.
Now, move along. We don't want any better conscious entities collapsing creation on a wing now, do we?
No, teachers.
Get to it. Oh, and remember, have fun.
Hope you like what you've heard so far. It's time for the main event. Please allow me to present Mr. Carl Lee Lands Jr. II. Carl Lee Lands Jr. Correct?
I prefer the second. Not junior school. I like junior.
Oh, you like the second? Okay, move the chair
that
up.
implies that more are coming. And even though my name is terrible, there's more to come.
Why do you say your name is terrible?
My entire name is 3 syllables. I have to use a junior just to get more.
Carl Lee
I
Lands.
tell people my name is Carl Paul, or I tell people my name is Carlos. No, my name is Carl No Oaks. It's pretty much been a problem of mine for my entire life.
They can't get Carl right? That's
No.
a simple name.
Or I remember my 4th grade teacher gave the entire class spelling words because everybody called me Carl Roll, not Carl, and she lost her mind. Like, it was like the end of the year and everybody got like 10 times each, and I was like hate it until middle school.
Oh, jeez.
I was like, that's not even my fault. This is my name.
Right. right. So the Lee is also part of the first name.
No, middle name.
That's your middle name.
Last name Lands, Junior. Carl Lee Lands. It's 3. It's
How do you go about officiating it as the second? Like,
just I was really more or less just trying to be a smartass in the beginning, trying to make my video kind of cool.
okay. So then, if you have a son, you're gonna name him Carl?
No, I wouldn't do that to him.
Oh,
I'm a
you
human
wouldn't?
being. No.
Oh, okay. So what's your then opinion on naming your children the same name as you?
I mean, I want them to have the middle name. It's kind of like a family thing.
Right.
Because I have a lot of cousins with Lee, and I just figured it's my name too. It's my dad, so it's good enough for my kids.
Okay.
If Jen and I end up having kids, she's against it, but we'll see.
Against having the Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Let's see who wins this battle.
Fight. But I don't know. It's pretty much. I don't find it as a strong enough name. Never did me any good, really. Except being probably one of the only ones of my kind.
I mean, I'm a big fan of choosing a completely different name.
Yeah.
There's plenty of names out there.
Well, I mean, it's better than what I was told my name was supposed to be. It's supposed to be twins, Ebony and Ivory.
Really?
Because, I'm half black, half white, so my mom thought that would be hilarious.
Really? Well, were you going to be the Ebony or the Ivory?
Assuming Ebony? No.
Now go look at the picture at opusmarcuspodcast.com. Yeah.
But, no. My parents weren't good at picking names.
Right.
So.
Yeah, mine went with Marcus and Michael. 2 M's, Eminem.
My poor sister. Her name is Selena Yvette Ortiz. My mother's name is Yvette, so she gave her name to my sister as a middle name.
Okay.
Which is, I think, weird, because my mom's a short little Italian lady. Her name's Yvette. I think that doesn't really fit.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
You have just one sister?
Yeah, well, they're both half sisters. I have an older sister too, but I've seen her a handful of times for my dad's first marriage. She's much older. She's actually in her 40s now. Dad was old.
Okay.
Born at 47. Old man.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he had her when he was young.
Mm-hmm. Really young, to his first wife, and then met my mom. That was it. It's the history of the Carls.
And they've been good ever since?
My parents?
Yeah.
No, actually, oh man, it's gonna turn into
we can cut.
Bad story. No. I mean,
not go anywhere.
Yeah, you can edit it however you want.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really care. I'll talk about it. This is kind of fit into where we originally talked about kind of going with this.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was 9 years old, my mom disappeared one day.
Okay.
Truly, gone. Dropped us off at school in the morning, and didn't see her again for years.
Did you know where she was in that time?
No, had no idea. Lost contact with my mom's side of the family, who really up here, because my dad's from Baton Rouge.
Okay.
So all of his family's down there, her family's up here, and we lost contact after my mom left. Turns out she was having my sister. She was apparently cheating on my dad, left him when she got pregnant, and that was it.
Did he know where she was?
Yeah, he knew. But
he just didn't tell you guys.
No, my dad, he was very bitter after that.
What was the story? What did he tell you?
All I remember was that night, so mom did come pick me and my brother up from school. I was 4th grade. Brother was kindergarten. We didn't live that far from home, but we always got picked up. And she didn't come. My dad didn't come pick us up. It started getting dark out, and because he didn't get out until 7 or 8 o'clock at night. So crying as these two little kids, we go home, and nobody's home. Dad doesn't come home till late at night. I'm crying, and I'm like, "Where's Mom?" Whacked me upside the head and said, "Don't ever ask that again." So I never did.
Wow.
That was it. Then she came back 2-3 years later, talking about I'm your mom, and she literally signed me and my brother out of the school we're in and moved us away without my dad knowing.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so that became a whole thing. And
where did she move you to?
3 towns over, pretty much. Nothing crazy, but I didn't know if that was going on. I was 12 at this point, 11,
right? Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that. And yeah.
How long did you stay with her?
Till I was a freshman in high school.
So he never got you guys back?
No, we saw him. We saw him, but he was trying. My dad wanted to work things out with her. Like my dad loved her till the day he died.
Okay.
And so anything that she wanted, like he, gave her all the money in the world, even when we were living over there, and she was using it, on her boyfriend, stupid stuff like that.
That's amazing.
She's a different person now. I love my mom. Mom, if you ever hear this, I love you. Like, the past is the past, but
all of that's like healed and forgiven.
Yeah. That's all.
That's awesome.
Under the
Good.
bridge. Yeah, no, we're
Skip
good.
to the happy ending part.
Yeah, you can't hold that in. You can't internalize that. But
did you say your dad passed away?
Yeah, my dad passed away about 2.5 years ago now.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
I went through the same thing almost at the same time.
Oh, really?
Almost. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Thank you. So, what was that like?
Well, like when my dad passed, or leading up to. I mean, so the reason I started so far back, almost 20 years ago, is after my mom left, my dad tried to do everything to make her happy. When he found out, like, hey, look, we're not getting back together. He always had a history of alcoholism. Okay. But when he was with my mother, it just stopped. It was very social, a couple beers here and there, nothing. Huh. He became full-blown raging alcoholic again. Right. Which led into him getting into drugs at, I think he was like 56 years old.
Oh, wow.
Like, he started to, like, crack and everything.
Wow, late in life like that.
Yeah. Especially, like, his health wasn't what it should have been anyway, and...
Sure.
That led to him, doing all that shit, getting addicted to it, coming off of it, because he literally couldn't drive anymore. He had 2 strokes back to back.
Whoa.
They're pretty sure it was from the drugs, because he had a weak heart from birth. And, smoking crack isn't really good for your heart at any age, but at 56 years old with a heart condition,
But did he survive the strokes, or that was it?
Yeah, he survived the strokes, and he was pretty good from then. I mean, he was slowed down tremendously. Slowed down.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, we didn't let him drive anymore. Then his mind started going. Then he developed dementia, and that was the killer. When... my dad's, like, looking at me and he's telling me, like, yeah, I'm going to go help my friend fix a car. And I'm like, Dad, you can't even walk by yourself anymore. Like, full-blown convinced he was still... Because my dad lived in California for years after he left Baton Rouge. And he was fully convinced he was still in California. Wow. I would have to open the door and show him that this wasn't it. And he would have, like, this sad just look on his face. And then, like, go sit... Like, I would help him go sit back down. Like, it was not good.
How long did that go on?
That went on for 2 years ago, like 5-6 years. It was just, after he had the strokes, I had to leave college because he couldn't work anymore. Bill still had to get paid, so did a bunch of like cooking jobs and like shit I really hated to do, but I did it.
And he was living with you, or you were living there and taking care of him?
Well, he had his disability, but that was barely enough to cover the rent. I mean,
sure.
So I had to make those ends meet. Thankfully, I know, like, hate to say this, but my brother was still living with my mom at the time, even though he was going through his own battles over there. It was still a blessing in disguise, because I would have lost my mind trying to, like, raise my brother, too. There's no way.
So, your brother was going through some stuff as well?
Oh, yeah. Man, my brother was... You actually probably should interview him one day, because you would get great stories out of him.
Okay.
He went through hell, that poor guy. But, I mean, he's doing all right now. He's into his music, he's working, but he wants to be a music artist. Like, that's his ultimate goal. And he has the sound, he has the talent, he just needs that exposure. But, and trust me, I don't like the type of music that my brother makes, but his music, I will say, not being biased, is really good.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Because, like, when he's made some garbage, I'm like, yo, that was garbage. Like, no one's gonna listen to that.
What type of music?
Like, hip-hop, like, all the, like, I guess they call it, like, trap and...
Yeah.
It's his thing. I mean, he's good at it. I mean, I saw videos of him being, like, 11 years old, like, rapping like he was Drake.
That's awesome.
So I'm waiting for him to blow up so I can expose those. I need some cash, so he needs to hurry up with that.
Right.
TMZ, if you... No. No, but, I mean, yeah. Life could be worse.
So... I mean, I can extrapolate all these different things from what you said when you talked about your father with alcoholism, because I also dealt with that issue. My grandfather got Alzheimer's and had the dementia, so like I've experienced that way. And my mom had a stroke.
Wow.
Had to come back out of it. So you get through all that. Where are you at right now?
Right now, still like almost feels like recovering day by day from like all those things. Like if I cut out and completely blacked out my past and looked at like what my life is presently, I'm the happiest person in the world. Like couldn't be happier. It's like when I think about the things that I left undone in the past are still like, you know, or couldn't finish, like no matter what, or still could finish, but like still not choosing to, you know, adult responsibilities, whatever the case may be. Then all of a sudden it's like I let that little shadow come over me and just completely block out like my present. And that's always been my problem.
Wow. That's definitely going deep, and I agree with you. That
what's in there? No.
What's in? Oh, in there?
Taking me.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I'm not going to directly reference our setting and location, but it is the office.
The office.
When you talk about that shadow creeping over from the past, how often does that come upon you? And how much does it interfere with the present?
Every day. Easily every day.
What do you do to combat it or recognize it?
That's the thing. I don't try to deal with it directly. Because I feel like I can't. Even though small battles, I know I could win those. And that's all it is, a series of small battles, right? I mean, but I don't know, smoke pot. I mean, that's mainly like my go-to. It's just...
So, okay, let's contextualize where we're going with this, because I think we're skirting around.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
You and I went to a camping trip.
Yes.
And it was my friend Dan, who provides the music for this podcast, by the way.
What up, Dan?
Yeah, and it was like, I guess for his anniversary or whatever, we drove down to South Jersey and we were camping out there.
Mm-hmm.
What was it, Bass River?
Bass River?
Bass River?
Something like that.
Bass River. So we got there and you didn't know anybody. I knew most everybody that was there because I had known them for a long time. And then it was raining for a very long time.
Pouring.
Right? It started in the middle of the night and just the whole morning and afternoon, to the point where we were debating whether or not we should go.
Yeah.
And then, I guess, over the course of the day, the rain stopped. Dan and the other guys had made the spit. Do you remember that?
Yeah, to dry up everybody's shoes and whatever was wet, right?
Yeah, and then there was that cauldron of stew.
Oh yeah,
from
the
there.
chili.
So I don't know. Did we? I don't know. Did we make up our minds to leave and stick to it? Like, it's still like a blur to me. But here's what actually happened. After everything got nice and cozy and it was pretty cool, I was like, well, okay, we gotta go. And I guess in my mind, I thought that you wanted to go. And I was starting to enjoy being there, but I thought, well, he wants to go, so let's just go. And then we left.
That's pretty much it. But from my view, it was, oh man, I think he wants to go, so let's go. But I wasn't opposed to leaving because I was like completely anxious and like uncomfortable.
Why was that?
Group of people I didn't know. I mean, group of dudes, like, even though they were all super cool, chill, welcoming, everything, it was just out of my element, out of my comfort zone. And that's one of the hardest things I'm not able to like kick. One of like the biggest thing I've overcome a lot with like my social anxieties and stuff like that. But being completely by myself, I would have like, one of my friends there or like known you a little better. It would have been a completely different trip for me and how I interacted with the group, because I really didn't. Not much.
Right.
And I couldn't bring myself to do it. And I have no idea why. Like I said, everybody was super cool and it was just, couldn't do it.
I understand and I sympathize with that. We talked about it on the way home. So where does that come from? That level of anxiety?
I think it comes from, like, that's why I brought up in the beginning of this, like, where I came from, like, when my whole life went from amazing to what the hell is going on, I don't know what's going on the next day. Like, I lived in constant, like, fear and anxiety, like, from the moment my mom didn't pick us up to currently as I'm sitting in this chair with you.
Okay.
Driving over here, I was like, oh, man, I was like, I'm gonna go see Marcus. I haven't seen him since that camping trip. You know, like, this is gonna suck. Like, he's gonna, like, totally, like, blast me about that. And I'm just like, no, I don't blame him because, like, that was kind of douchebag. Like, we could have stayed. We drove all the way down there. It was like 2.5 hours.
Oh, no. All right. Well, okay. Wow. So those are thoughts that are going in your head as you're coming over here.
As soon as you asked me, like, let's hang out, that was it. And it's not just you, it's anything and anyone.
Anything and anyone. Okay, I get that. And I have similar thoughts over things, and even though there are constant reminders, if I directly address my thoughts about things with people, they'll remind me, like, wait, that was all just in your head. You were just, you know, you were thinking about something that didn't
happen, exist.
I mean, although I did think the camping trip was a good place to spring into all of this.
No, definitely.
But it definitely wasn't meant to blast. It was more just
no. That was just a term I threw out there. Like I know you enough as a person that I know you wouldn't do that. Even if you were livid, like, I can't believe, like, you made me leave my friends.
Oh, yeah,
like,
no.
Like,
well, because I had my hand in it. And my hand in it was, here's a really good friend of mine, Dan. I mean, he's always been there. And he did most of the work, right? Preparing all day during the shitty rain. I mean, I didn't.
They chopped down trees.
They chopped down trees.
Literally chopped down trees.
Yeah, and it was like we were standing there thinking, like, well, what can we do? There wasn't much else to do because the real men were handling things. That's how I felt. And so then by the time everything got relaxed and comfortable and we were fed with the stew he had made hanging over the spit with the cauldron that he had brought. Yeah. Then we're like, okay, see ya.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I called him up a few days later and I was like, look, I don't know, we were both just like, we each thought that each other wanted to go, so we left, and I'm sorry, it was kind of a dickish move, and he was like, no problem, you know. But then I look back on it, and it goes back to what you said about things from the past that you could have done differently and couldn't change, and that will always... it sounds like I'm overblowing the moment,
no.
But believe me, it's actually one tiny sliver in a series of moments like that. For me, where I look back and, you know, my memory of the experience is not usually the same as everybody else. Everybody's like, oh, that was an awesome time. Remember this good thing happened? And I just remember, like, being in my own head, filled with anxiety.
You miss out on the good times, focusing on the bads that won't necessarily happen. That could happen, but more than likely won't.
Right. And then when you actually are in front of a group of people, let's say you're with those unknown people, you actually get there and you spend time with them and you find out, well, either my initial assumptions of these people were wrong. Like I was on this defensive, you know, somebody's out to get me.
Yeah.
Like I almost feel sometimes like they're alpha males, or I view them as alpha males and feel threatened by them.
Yeah.
And then it turns out that they're just regular human beings.
Yeah, they're just like nerds like me. Like.
Yeah, exactly. So, but you've been dealing... So this started back when all that shit went down, and it just continued.
For the most part, yeah. I mean, I always was, like, a little socially awkward. I mean, who isn't at that age, I'm assuming? I don't know.
Did you do anything, or did anything help it? Or...
I didn't find the cure to my social... Well, not the cure. The best yet remedy that I've tried. Like...
Yes, you could. But he's just like, we can talk about anything, right? Like in that low whisper. This is a podcast where anything can be discussed.
All right. When I was about 22, again, late bloomer, didn't even try pot till I was 19. I got pretty heavy into like MDMA. And with MDMA, you don't just sit home and do it unless you're an addict, but we'll get to that later. You do it in a social setting. You go to the clubs, you go with your crew of people, quote unquote, and you just have a blast wherever the hell you are, whether it's a festival, open air, or like, you know, at Webster Hall, which seen that place way too many times in my life, especially at that age.
How old were you when you first did MDMA then?
22.
And what was the situation?
Just got over a really bad ex. I was with this girl for 4 years. Broke my heart. Left me for another person. Caught her cheating. The whole nine.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
And I was hanging out with one of my friends who I hadn't seen in a while, who, you know, was like my best friend. But, you know, you get into a relationship when you're that young. Or, I mean, I wasn't that young looking back, but... And you fall in love and you forget about your friends and you focus on that one person and you lose contact with everybody, pretty much.
Yes. Definitely done there and been that.
And, you know, he was hanging out with this group of people that he started working with, and I started hanging out with them too, and they were all into that whole party scene. And they were 21. They weren't that much younger than us. Mm-hmm. And the first day we hung out, this kid's like, oh no, probably the second time, I'm lying. Because I met his girlfriend, and then we went out for her birthday, her 22nd, and went to Webster Hall, and we got VIP, it was like the whole thing, Little John was playing. And, and it was like the greatest night that could possibly happen.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm a couple weeks out of this relationship, and there's just tons of pretty girls, and I want to have fun, and they're all throwing shit in their mouth, and I'm like, what's going on? This girl just turns to me, hands me a pill, and just like, do it. And I look at it, and I'm like, what is this? Like, I have a huge allergy to aspirin. Oh, yeah. And I'm just like, oh, if this is Coke and there's aspirin, it's Coke with aspirin, I'm dead.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, that's why I've never got into Coke ever, because I was always afraid that I'm gonna...
I would not recommend it to anyone.
Yeah. And so she's like, it's Molly, and I'm just like, I don't know what the fuck that is. What's going to do? It's going to make you really happy, and you're not going to be hungry.
So you didn't know that Molly was MDMA?
Had no idea.
You just heard the word Molly?
That was the first time I ever heard it. So
okay.
I take it, I swallow it. Because, I mean, I was like, more like heartbroken, done with life. Like if I got hit with a bus that same night, before that happened, I would have been.
Now, see, that's interesting because there you go. You had reached such a point of fuck it
that I literally threw this random pill in my mouth with little dust inside, and I was like, whatever happens, happens.
Had no idea what it...
Nope. It could have been rat poisoning, could have been...
And no prior research into it? Okay.
Nothing. I had no idea what any of this was going to do to me. This is awesome. And so this is August, and from then on, I remember sitting there, and I was having a massive anxiety attack in the club. I'm sitting on the seats, and I'm just like, I'm gonna die. What the fuck did you just do? Are you dumb? You're gonna die. And that goes again with my, like, the same voice that says my social anxiety, you know, you're stupid, why are you here, what are you doing? The same voice, but, you know, that time I chose to ignore it, you know? Like, why listen to it then when I'm doing drugs, you know? Because people are more dangerous than drugs, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I remember her one friend turned to me and she said, she goes, did you make the phone call? And I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, my phone's right here. And she's like, because I'm ringing right now. Did you make the phone call? And I looked at her, and then I swear to God, not even 30 seconds later, my entire perception of reality, who I was and who I was with, and everywhere that was just changed.
Right.
It hit me, and I was the most social. I got out of VIP, like, and mind you, it was just a small group of people. Mm-hmm. I went down into the crowd. I was partying with people. I was dancing with people. Like, and I don't dance. Like, not even shit-faced drunk do I dance. And I was a party freaking animal. And from then on, I was hooked. Hooked.
Oh, like really hooked?
Like, really hooked. Like, 2 years, I enrolled in a program while my dad was sick. And my dad was sick at this time, and I just couldn't take anymore. Okay. Oh, best part about the day that the girl broke up with me after I confronted her on everything.
Right.
My apartment caught on fire.
No shit.
I'm driving home, and my mom, my aunt, I don't remember who called me, and she's like, where are you? We got to get down out of the house. The house is on fire.
So you see this girl, you're confronting her with all this shit, you're finding all this stuff out.
She tells me everything. I cheated on you. It's been this long. Blah 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 blah.
Then you're driving home and you get a call that your house is on fire. Oh my god!
Got to get Dad out of the house, and I'm just like, what the fuck? And I didn't even go home. I drove. I don't remember. Like the rest of that day is an absolute blur. I don't remember. I couldn't tell you what happened.
So, but when you first took the pill, was that same night? Or
no. This is a couple weeks prior.
Oh wow. Okay.
And
yeah.
You know, like now, I mean, the house is still livable, thank God. But you know, it smelled like smoke. Everything smelled like smoke. It was you know, it was just a shitty situation. Like on top of everything, house catches on fire. Like
yeah, absolutely.
Now I'm at this club and there's all these girls. I'm lonely. I'm miserable. I feel like I want to die. Take this pill. You're gonna have a great time. Whatever you say.
Mm-hmm.
That was
yeah
the chain of events.
Yeah, I got nothing left to lose at this point, except for my own mind.
Exactly.
But you didn't. You found something.
Oh my god! I found what it feels like to not give a shit about what anybody thinks of you. To be able to interact, connect, and communicate with anyone about anything. And it was such an amazing feeling. Like literally I could only describe it as like feeling like how like God would feel.
Yeah.
Just completely like powerful. Not powerful in like a malicious way, just like walk up to a random person and say, "Hey, how are you doing? My name's Carl." And because I projected my voice the way I did, I never had a person, I can't even remember a person saying my name wrong. So now like I'm looking back and I'm like, do people call me Paul because I'm not asserting who I am as a person?
Right.
So, and I just had that thought now. That's
pretty crazy. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, in a way.
Yeah.
So you have this experience, and flash forward to today, where MDMA has just been actually approved for legal psychiatric use because the results of it treating depression and PTSD are absolutely amazing.
Autism too, they're trying it on.
Oh, really? Okay.
And so for that exact reason, so these kids can connect with their parents. Mm-hmm. And like I said, like I felt like I could connect with anyone. I mean, I did connect with everyone that I ever wanted to talk to about anything. Whether it was like the bouncer, some random person, like it didn't matter.
And I used to find myself thinking of people that weren't around. Mm-hmm. And these brilliant ideas or plans for things I would do with them or for them. Mm-hmm. Like I would start making all of these plans for all the people I knew. And then it wears off.
Yeah.
What was that like for you when it wore off?
The only time, like I said, I was doing it for more bad reasons, so I never really had the thoughts and plans of like trying to do for others, and I was more focused on how it made me feel and how it the only time I ever felt that is when what was described to me as hippie flipping was when I did mushrooms and Molly together.
And was that your first time with mushrooms?
Yes, that was my first time.
So it was in conjunction with wow, okay.
And that was, you know, on my birthday, like, you know, like I said, the original story I first did it was August, and then flash forward October, I'm hippie flipping. Like I'm a pro at this stuff now. Like it was bad. It was a bad time, but very, very enlightening.
Ah, and that's exactly the right way to put it, my friend. Mm-hmm. It was a bad time, but very, very enlightening. What did the combination of those two do for you as a different type of experience?
Just, oh my God. Molly made me feel like I could connect with anyone about anything. In conjunction with the mushrooms, I felt like I was one with everything. And could connect with everything. Whether it was, I remember talking to a cat and just talking to him, petting this cat and loving the way it feels because of the MDMA, and being able to focus enough because, like, I don't know about your experience with mushrooms, but mine, I'm not really able to focus on one thing for too long. I'm kind of all over the place.
Sure.
But when I did them both together, I was able to, this is what I'm going to talk about. And I remember talking about my father a lot. And I find myself still doing that.
when you're tripping?
When I was tripping, yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember he was still alive at this time, but he was like sick, like almost couldn't communicate anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember like thinking about like what I wanted to do with my life so I can help him and make, I didn't know how many years he had left or if he had years left, but I just wanted to make him happy and my brother. Like those are absolutely the two people on earth that no matter what I would give anything for. And I don't feel like that about most people or anything really. But
or Jen.
Or Jen. Sometimes. No, but even Jen, like she's like, we've been dating for almost 2 years now, and like I'm the kind of person, I think because of what I went through, like it still takes me time for me to let somebody that close.
Sure, absolutely.
And
especially considering what you've gone through, and I just drew a blank because my mind is going a million different directions, and I want to comment to every single thing you're saying. Oh man, I have to edit this part out.
No, it's alright.
It's not self-conscious.
Yeah. So I mean, with Jen, like I will have to say, out of all the like long-term relationships I've had, she is absolutely the most understanding. I have told her everything about me, and that I've never had a problem with. I'll talk to you about what I've been through. I want to hear what you've been through.
Yeah.
But me letting you in and close, that's not necessarily how you know that I'm in love with you or I love you, because like I'm in love with Jen 100%. But that to me is even stronger than that love, than that bond. Like I'm putting on the same plane as like my father and my brother.
Mm-hmm.
And that is like, that's before anything.
Right. Do you realize that you are loved?
It's hard for me to accept it, I would say. I know, like I'm going to keep using Jen as the reference. I know she loves me. I know she would give her kidneys for me, her eye, like it doesn't matter. She would do anything for me. I know she loves me unconditionally. I have tested her. I know I have, like.
Yes. Right.
But, like, I know that, but there's still a part of me that's like, you felt this way before. And look where it ended.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, do I do that again to myself? Because I know with breakups, I'm not good. And I know where it would lead me. Even though, like, I know it may sound like, I don't know, like, oh, if you know it's coming, you should stop it, don't do it. But it's, to me, I know it's an inevitability. So it's...
you know it's an inevitability.
Like, me, like, turning to some kind of device to ease my pain and my suffering.
If you break up, is what you're
saying. If I let somebody that close and it doesn't, and we break up.
Okay.
Like right now, like say, worst case scenario, Jen and I break up tomorrow. I'm going to be miserable, don't get me wrong, but am I going to go back to like, like doing drugs, trying to party, trying to get out there, going to bars? Probably not, but I'll probably throw myself into something else like work.
Okay.
But if, like, let's say I let her that close in, like, I've only let one other person, like, that's where I ended up. I'm older now, I know more, maybe it's a cop-out, I don't know.
No, I agree with you. Because I came earlier this summer, at the beginning of the summer, we went through something. And I was looking at the other side of, oh, okay, I might be here alone and have to find a roommate and do that and be back with just myself. And I was completely miserable.
Yeah,
the
sure.
idea of that would be such a blow. So how do we get past that?
I don't know. I know the methods I've used in the past have worked. That's probably why I'm more up, like, I probably lean more towards doing it again, but I know it's not the right thing.
Oh, you're talking about, it's like a...
Like going down, like, more of a destructive path. Like, that's...
So you're associating the use of psychedelics with as a self-destructive path.
Not. Well, I mean, if you consider MDMA as a psychedelic, like in that sense,
I would just put it in that general category.
Maybe it's not. I mean, society says it's destructive, but I don't feel like I'm any dumber, slower, angrier, happier. I don't feel like it.
Well, I guess I just mean for you personally, if you did it or tried it, would it be something that you would have a problem managing, or?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question, and my best reaction to that would be to not do it at all, because it got expensive.
Oh, sure.
I'll leave it like that.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't recommend doing that, even that specifically, unless you know exactly what you're getting.
Yeah.
Exactly. At this point, if it's something that could be prescribed, then that's the better option, because then you know exactly what you're getting.
But I've been down that route too. I mean, I've been prescribed things like, like antidepressants, Xanax, Klonopin, and I ended up abusing the Xanax and the Klonopin.
Oh, sure. So you went to actual therapy to deal with these
things?
Yeah,
that was. Oh, I should go back. I didn't just become this, this guy that just used MDMA. I went to years of counseling and everything first throughout my life for my anger management, and the psychiatrists and psychologists would tell you, oh, because of your anxiety, when you're in an uncomfortable position, that turns into anger. And I mean, I can't argue with that. I mean, that's where the only times I could find myself like unreasonably and irrationally angry is when I'm in a situation I don't want to be in, and I need to get out. It's fight or flight, and my flight is in full drive, and I'm getting out of there whether it's through you or not.
Right. Okay.
Like a little story I'm not proud of, actually, even recently, is Jen and I went to a wedding. First time I ever went to a wedding before, because all my friends are, hoodlums.
Yeah. First one.
But, so I went to a wedding, and I did not want to be there. Like, my anxiety was on such overdrive. I mean, there was, I don't even know, this could have been like a 12-ounce glass that I went to the bartender twice back to back and had her fill it literally to the top with Fireball. Drank them back to back in less than an hour, and that should have made me completely shit-face. You're practically on the floor.
Yeah.
And my anxiety kept me stone sober. I drove home not even 30 minutes later, completely fine.
Wow.
Like, my anxiety is so powerful, it's disgusting.
So you left early.
I forced Jen to leave early, and it turned into the biggest argument because she didn't want to leave, and I understand why she didn't want to leave. A friend of her that she knew was getting married. We were at a table where I knew all the people there. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was all people that she worked with from the vet, but I knew them.
Okay.
They were cool. We've hung out before.
Yeah.
But it was all the other people at the other tables.
Yeah.
And nobody was even looking in our direction. We were tucked in the back corner. Like, it was dark where we were. Like, it didn't matter. And we gotta go. We gotta go. And every time I said we gotta go, she'd say, wait. I'd wait another, 45 minutes, an hour. We gotta go now. Now. Then it turned into, I walked out. 45
to an hour is a reasonable time to give.
But, you know how long it took me to get to that point where I allowed that much more time? That all goes back to my training with the psychedelics.
Oh, you mean being able to ride it out,
mm-hmm.
and
oh yeah,
when that anxiety hits or that bad trip.
I didn't walk into a mall until I was 18 years old, 17. So just because I had to work, I got a job at a movie theater.
Wow.
And I wanted to clean the theaters because the ushers, you don't see them ever. They freaking put me front and center as the person that sold you tickets, and I wanted to die every day at work.
But that's probably what you needed, though. You needed, really.
Oh my god, it was the worst experience of my life. 3 years.
Really? So just having that basic exchange with people.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's something you're still struggling with today.
No, I wouldn't say I'm struggling with it anymore.
Okay.
I mean, as far as my anxiety, now it's not. It's weird. Now it's more flipped because now I'm not afraid to be around crowds of people I don't know. I could care less. I went to a concert a couple weeks ago with one of my coworkers and her friends, and crowd of people. Sober, I had a beer. That's it, because beers were like $20. I'm not paying that for a beer. And I was sober the entire concert. For 2 days we were there.
Right.
Sober, I had a great time. Now it's smaller groups that I like, and now I'm more so having a problem with.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many similarities in what you're saying to things that I also experience and go through. I don't go out very often. You know, usually it's pulling teeth to get me out. I'm usually fine once I'm out, but if I get to a certain point where I don't want to be there anymore, I will ghost. I don't like explaining to others that I want to go or why I want to go.
Yes.
I don't want to.
I hate saying goodbye.
Yeah.
I hate saying goodbye.
Yes.
I'd rather just give that real general broad, see everybody, and just out
I don't
the door.
even do that.
Oh,
I don't even
man.
do that. I'll make like one last round, but they won't know that it's... I'll know it's the last time I'm going to talk to them that night. They don't know that. And then once I've done that, I'm like, okay.
That's it. I got my interactions in.
Yeah, they saw my face.
Quote and bet, I'm out.
Right. And I don't know where that comes from, because there is a flip side of me where I'm totally normal and cool and enjoy myself around people, and I can be that. But it's like I can't it's like I can't control when that's gonna happen.
Yeah, no, I like, now Jen and I, like, I mean, and like I said, she's incredible, because even after that, I mean, if it was me in her shoes at that wedding, like, I mean, the fight was bad. In the car ride home, everything, like, it was bad.
Sure.
And it wasn't bad even coming from her. It was, we're on our way home. We're gone. She said her goodbyes. We left. You know, she probably made up excuse that I was sick or whatever the case may be, and that was it. We were gone. She did everything she could to cater to my needs there. And I still lost my mind on the way home.
You mean like verbally?
Like verbally, just like, I told you I wanted to effing go when I wanted to go, and blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
And I'm just like...
All right.
But, like, you know, and it's almost scary, because, like, as I'm saying these things, I feel like I'm over here saying, like, but you're already leaving. Shut up. She did it. Apologize to her and just drive home. But I'm just dire.
But you're still good. You're still going.
Oh, my God. Like a machine gun. Like...
I've been accused. I do the same thing. And because it's very much like my father in me. And connecting back to the alcohol. So he would drink, he would get verbally abusive, never physical abusive, but just like a lawyer on the witness stand, just barraging you with questions. You always felt like you were guilty of something, but it was something that was insignificant. And I can tend to do the same thing if I get angry, like that. Keep on going and going and going,
and don't let it go, even though. Do you find yourself like telling yourself stop,
Yeah.
and you can't.
You can't stop.
You can't. Like, there's nothing you can do that helps you stop.
And God bless her, my mother does that to the extreme. Like, if there's something that sets her off, there is no end. Like, it will just keep going. So, all right. But it's better now. And do you think, because I'm of the opinion, just going back to the psychedelics and their role in helping you deal with these things. So you were going to therapy, but then you have this peak experience. And then you were continuing therapy afterward. I
actually stopped therapy because I felt it was more inhibiting me to grow. Because now I'm of the mind, and my sister, she has her own issues. She just turned 17, and they're always telling, she's in and out of hospital, psychiatric care, back and forth, back and forth. She's having a bad day. How many times as a kid did you say, "Oh, fuck this, I want to die," or whatever? I mean, are you going to do it? More than likely not. Right. My sister's not. I know she's not. But she had a bad day, and she keeps having these doctors and these therapists and whoever. You're like this because you have social anxieties. You're like this because you're this. They keep putting these labels. Yeah, absolutely. And when you keep being told you're something, you're going to start believing it and then acting it.
That's exactly right.
So I stopped going to these therapists because the drugs are making me feel like shit. And if I didn't have them, I felt like shit. And if I stopped taking them, like I wasn't myself. When I was taking them, I wasn't myself. So what made me my most self was the MDMA. Because naturally, when I'm in my comfort zone, when I'm with people I know and love and care about, and we're cool and everything like that, I'm the loudest person in the room. I'm the most fun. I'm the one that's, you know, I'm egging people on. I mean, my friends, I mean, get me drunk, I'll show you. Like, my friends, we went to SantaCon last year in the city, and we're all dressed up like Santa. I mean, as a social, anxious person, I shouldn't be able in this suit right now. You know, I look like an idiot right now on the subway. Me and my 3 friends dressed up as Santa, you know, just headed to go day drink in the middle of December.
See, I find that it has the opposite effect. Wearing a costume, for me, is a way for me to hide who I actually am, and then these other aspects of me can come out through the costume. But anyway.
Yeah. See, in me, I feel the more spotlight, the more anxious I am.
Okay, the more it's on you. Wow. Okay, I understand that.
Definitely. So, I mean, we get there, and, you know, Jen was there, some of my coworkers, all my buddies, their coworkers. It was like a huge group of us. And I'm sitting with my one friend Hector and his coworker. They call him Groovy, but his name's Chris, but we'll just call him Groovy for the show.
Okay.
Because there's like 12 Chris's there, and so they all go by their last name. So he's Groovy, there's a Potter, yeah.
That's awesome, yeah, it's a good way to do it.
And so Hector and Groovy are standing there, and these 3 girls walk in, and they're both like, they're single. They're like, oh my God, look at these girls. Like, whispering, and I'm like, and we're trash at this point. I'm like, go talk to them. And they're like, oh, it's not that easy. And I go, watch this. And I'm trashed. I grab my coworker, Michelle, and I walk over to those girls, and I'm like, hi guys, this is my friend Michelle from Wisconsin. She loves cheese. Those girls ended up loving us and following us for the rest of the night to like all these different bars. My friends were talking to them. They all got in. Why was that me?
Yeah, exactly. So what was it in that situation that allowed you to be that? Alcohol.
That's it. And I don't like the fact that I prefer I can't say I need it because I mean I work with people every single day. I literally see, at any given day, 30 different people.
Okay, sure.
And it, you know, so I'm having small talk all day with all different kinds of people from every walk of life, every tax bracket.
Tell everybody what your job is.
I am a dental assistant, but I'm the supervisor, so I'm a glorified assistant.
Okay. And so you go through your day, you interact with people, no problem.
All day, make jokes, people I don't know. We get new patients every day, and it's nothing to me to talk to these people.
Huh.
And I'm the only, there's one other kid that works with us, but, you know, like, in any given room, I'm the only one talking to these people, and it's one-on-ones all day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you just don't know when it's going to hit, basically.
No.
Or if it's more likely, if, like you said, if it's smaller-ish groups of people that you don't know.
Pretty much, yeah. Or another weird thing that, like, I've noticed lately, and I haven't, and another thing, too, that goes back to, you know, like you said, you're like, I don't really go out, blah, 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 blah. In the past, I'm going to say maybe, like, 7-8 months, I haven't really been going out at all. Not even really, like, seeing my friends, like, only here and there.
Yeah.
And I notice that I'm regressing. Because I'll see patients that I have really good relationships with. And I know they'll come in just, like, for hygiene or something like that. And I'll purposely, like, weave in out of room so I don't have to see them.
Wow.
Just so I don't have to say hi. Because that to me is
back
awkward.
to your, like, a previous state where you feel like you were more that way before.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like, feel like I'm more, like, becoming more antisocial because I'm not... I don't know. Because, like, I am talking with more people than I ever would. Like, at work. But in my private life, I don't see or talk to really anybody besides, like, Jen. Talk to my friends here and there on the phone, text them, but...
Yeah, I'm the same exact way. My friend Doug tries to get... They all go out to karaoke roughly once a week.
Oh, wow.
You know, 2 or 3 times a month. And I know the guy that does the karaoke. He's actually said he would be a guest at some point. And I know Doug, I know Dave, his coworker is now really cool. Like, there's no reason for me not to want to go out there and enjoy myself. But even just doing that, like with a small group of people that I know, I'd rather just, I'm just like, I'd rather just be alone.
Yeah. And you literally have nothing better to do, but you'll choose home every single time.
Are we saying that social interaction is important?
I mean, at this point, it has to be. I mean, I've been going through this long enough where when I was at my most social was when I was out there, you know, partying and doing whatever. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I was great. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely at my best in front of other people in many, many situations. Mm-hmm. Like, especially if it's a serving type situation where I'm doing something for others, like helping others, or, you know, then I feel like that's my glory. Like that's
yeah. It's almost empowering because I get the same feeling mm-hmm. where you feel like, you know, I can connect better with this person because I'm doing something for them, but
there's a lot of ego involved in that. That sounds
yeah. But that's what it is. I mean.
I don't know, but I do think that maintaining friendships and being around other people is important. I find it harder to do as I get older, mm-hmm. and going back to father issues, like that was definitely something that he was close with my uncle, he was close with his dad, he was close with my other uncle. They all pass away. Relatively youngish, mm-hmm. so he's left with sort of nobody that he was close to, and didn't from that point on actively maintain any male friendships. He was just like home, he was with my mom, didn't have like a hobby or a project and all that, and I think that contributed to, like, when he was sick, like, it exacerbated it. It kept it going. It just kept it going because what is the point? You know, he had nothing to, and there was no friend. So I always look at that. It's just as a cautionary tale.
Yeah.
Of you don't want to go down that road. You have to find something that is going to make you interact with others on some level. Mm-hmm. But also people can be so fucking boring.
So boring.
It might just be like some form of narcissism where I think it's all about me, or I don't know what it is, but just I'll tell you one thing, like being out at a bar where there's loud noise and music annoys the fuck out of me, because when I'm with the people hanging out, I want to have conversation. Like, I want to have real conversation. I don't know, is that something?
No, it's absolutely true. I mean, me and my friend Nick, we always have this argument because we'll hang out in his garage, you know, just to talk or whatever, and he'll always want to play music. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, no, I don't want to listen to music. I don't want you to blast whatever you're trying to, like, I want to talk.
Yeah. And
every time, like, he'll start the music, and, like, subconsciously, like, without thinking, I'll just walk over and just turn it off, like, mid-conversation, just keep talking to him. And he'll look at me, but I mean, we've been doing this for years now.
Yeah.
So it's like he's like, all right, conversation's getting good. I'm not going to complain. Uh-huh. But it's like always the thing. I mean,
wait. So he puts the music on, and then you guys continue to talk with the music on?
Like say I'll get there. He's already in the garage. Music's already on. Uh-huh. He'll have it on. I'll come in. He'll just turn it down a little bit, but it's still that background noise.
Yeah.
And then he'll, like, you know, we'll start talking, and, like, me, like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I want that music off. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but, like, when we were driving down to the camping trip, mm-hmm. I didn't have any music on.
Right.
And that's just, some people find it so weird, but I don't even notice I'm doing it anymore. It's because if I want to talk to you, I don't have anything at all.
Sure. Well, I have trouble processing. I think it's processing issue. It sounds, no pun intended, like a hearing issue, but I make people repeat fucking everything. Like, I don't hear it the first time. So any kind of background noise, or especially the music, is going to distract me. A doctor said once your hearing's fine, but you're basically hearing more sounds than most people. Like, you're paying attention to too many sounds at once or something like
that.
Okay. So I agree with you with silence in the background when you're talking to somebody. Are you comfortable with not talking and silence?
No. I mean, well, it depends. Are we, like, are our faces stuck in our phone? Because if that's the case, yeah, no problem, whatever.
Mm-hmm. I'm talking about, let's say we're in the car. You're in the car with somebody, and you don't have music on, and there's a long silence. How does that feel?
It depends on who the person is. If it's like one of my friends or like Jen, I don't really mind because I'm always stuck in my own head anyway. I'm always thinking and whatever, so I don't notice that there's no music because in my mind it's an orchestra.
Yeah.
But
yes.
But if it's like, you know, someone I'm not that familiar with or whatever like that, and they're quiet in the back, I'll find myself more or less putting on music that not necessarily I like, but something that I think they'll like, or if I know they'll like it.
Yes.
And I'll just put it on. I'm just kind of like, all right, I'm hating myself right now. Then I just get stuck in my own mind anyway, and I keep going.
Why would you hate yourself for doing that?
Not hate myself, but like, oh man, this music sucks. Like, why am I listening to this right now? Like, I would never listen to this. Like, I'm going crazy listening to this right now.
All right, okay.
But
I just find that most people can't handle a comfortable silence.
No.
Most people will start talking at some point.
Just to talk.
Yes.
About nothing.
Yes, because I believe that they're uncomfortable with actual silence.
So who's weird out of that, us or them?
That's a great question. I'm going to say them because I think that silence is important. I think it's become a luxury.
Seriously.
It's why everybody is all about meditation and you have to meditate, and it's true, you do, but really the point is to get some silence so that you're actually receiving.
What are those isolation pools where they like submerge you? Like
the tanks.
The tanks, yeah.
Have you ever done those?
No.
Yeah, I've done it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to try it.
It's fantastic.
But yeah, like think about that. You're paying for silence.
Mm-hmm. Right. You're paying for silence and weightlessness also. You know, that just like total sensory deprivation.
Yeah, oh man.
And after you do that for a few hours, you come out and everything feels that much more alive and radiant because your senses got to break. They got to break. So then you come out into it and you're just like, wow, everything is so intense.
Yeah, I mean that's true. I mean, if I close my eyes, I'm hearing you, the crickets, this chair, the wind, the cars going by. And, like, I'm listening to this as I'm trying to take in everything you're saying. But then if I open my eyes, I'm watching this time clock go back and forth as your screensaver. And it's just like, no, you can leave it. It's fine.
I was gonna move it.
But it's like, wow. It's like, I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, man, when it goes to a 4, it's really flat. But I'm listening to everything you're saying. But you're right. It's everything in this world is just distracting.
Yes, it is.
So distracting.
Absolutely.
But from what?
Distracting us from what? That's a great question. Like, I mean, this being all an illusion? Or... I
mean, possibly. I mean, my boss, I'm not going to say his name, but he's a huge Scientologist. Yes. That's his everything. And every time we hang out, like we did today, all day, he talks to me about it. And he tells me, even though I know he's not supposed to because of their rules or whatever, but he wants me to get into it. He wants me to at least try it out. And he starts talking to me about his past lives on other planets.
Okay.
Like today was a new one where he lived on a water planet where the entire planet was covered in like ankle deep water. There were like deeper spots, but most of it was just ankle deep.
Okay.
And he said when he was going through what they call auditing, he was having memories of his past life, and he remembered his webbed hands and feet, and he remembered his reflection in the water and what he looked like. And that's where...
So what's your take on that when he says that to you?
I don't know what to take from it because I'm a firm believer in we're not the only things out there.
Sure.
It's impossible.
Right.
It's impossible. But do you think me holding these little conductors, little things, and me telling you like about my childhood past is going to help me relive my past from 1,000 lifetimes?
So you're open-minded yet skeptical.
Yes.
I'm exactly the same way. It's like I want to believe. I'll accept any possible thing you can throw at me. I mean, I'll entertain any thought you give me. I won't dismiss anything. But it's very hard for me to say 100% like, yes.
This is definitively that and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know about Nikki and her quantum healing?
Bits and pieces. Jen tries to explain it to me, but I mean, I want to hear it from Nikki.
Yeah. Well, I just did an episode where she talked about it, but when you talk about past lives, like that's what it is. It's putting people under a hypnotic state and going into past and present and future life. So at that point, you have to, if you're going into something like that, you have to believe on some level that that's what you're actually doing.
That you're trying to find that. You have to. You have to believe in some part of it, because, I mean, can you not believe it and still live through it? Like,
that's my question. Yeah, well, her answer, I'm guessing, would be yes. Because even though your conscious mind is not open to the idea of it being legitimate, your higher self will come through and will show you exactly what you need.
Okay.
But see, then, like, as a skeptic, I would be like, and I constantly go through that battle in my head of like, yeah, sure, like I can believe in this and buy this. Then there's the other voice that's like, come on now, like let's be rational, and then just circles all the time. But do you think that spirituality or a belief in anything is important? Does that help
you have to believe in something, whether it's, you know, God, or yourself, or the person next to you. If that keeps you going, you have to believe in something, because if you don't believe in anything, could you have a point, like a reason to live? So you believe in, what do you believe in? I believe, wow.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
There you go, thanks, Mark.
It's really not fair to ask that question.
What do I believe in? I mean...
Or let me put it this way, what keeps you going?
Trying to leave something better behind for whoever comes after me. Like, okay. Truly, like, even if it's, I don't know, really stupid. I mean, I don't like go like clean bathrooms, but like, if I'm like at a restaurant or out somewhere or whatever, and somebody leaves like toilet paper like on the toilet seat, and I just like, you know, took a piss or whatever, I'll use my foot and I'll push the toilet paper in the toilet seat and flush, because it's like, why should someone have to walk into that? Like,
so you're doing it because it needs to be done.
Because it needs to be done,
and somebody's got to do it, and I'm here in this moment,
and I have the means to.
I'm going to do this,
and it's done.
That's the right attitude. That's a great attitude.
But at the same time, I'm like, you know, hepatitis is real. Like,
yeah, that's true. You do have to limit the things that you choose to do, or the places you're willing to go to save humanity.
One bathroom at a time.
Yeah, right. I was in Walgreens the other day, and these protein bars. Mm-hmm. I thought they were 3 for $5, and the guy behind the counter is like, "Oh, by the way, these are 4 for $5. You should get another one." So I ran back, got another one. I said, "Thank you, I'm sorry." And I said it to the lady who was waiting in line. Mm-hmm. He thought I was saying it to him, and he looks at me and he goes, "It is my duty." And I like, but he said it with such sincerity that I was like, wow, that's the kind of mindset you need to have. Like, even something that's small and insignificant, yeah. He knew it was the right thing to do, and he has that inner sense of duty. Like, it was there.
Yeah. I've been an idiot. Like, I mean, it's got me in, like, spots where, like, looking back, I'm like, I should have did the wrong thing.
Wait, what do you mean?
So going back to my job at the theater, there was this guy. He would always come in. He was always the last one to go into a theater for like new movies. Because you saw your regulars. And he was always the last guy to leave. He was the guy that always made you close late. Always had an issue with something. Come to you like, you know, 3 a.m. after a movie and just be like, you want to go home.
Yeah.
And he's like, that movie was terrible. I want a refund. It's like, dude, you do this every time. I'm the same person. You not remember? I'm Paul. Remember Paul?
Paul.
And I remember one time he was walking out and he was drunk. This guy always snuck liquor, and that was his thing. You knew where he sat because there was literally bottles underneath his chair.
Right.
And he goes to put something in his back pocket, and he literally dropped a couple $100.
Mm.
And I looked at it. I picked it up. He was already gone by the time, but I knew it was him. He was the last one to leave.
Sure.
And I pick it up, and I'm just like, damn, this is the change I just handed that guy. And every part of me was just like, I'm going to throw this in my pocket, like, but I didn't.
You didn't. You gave it back to him.
Mm-hmm. He accused me of stealing $50 from the money he lost.
Seriously.
I was so pissed.
Wow, because at that point now you're thinking, well, I fucking should have kept it.
I should have kept it. You would have never known.
Yeah.
That would have been it.
Yeah.
But nope, he accused me of stealing $50, got my managers involved in everything.
Seriously?
They had to go on the camera and show that I picked it up and literally walked it over to him.
Wow. Well, it's a good thing that you did the right thing because it was on the camera anyway.
But yeah. So, I mean, you know, it has its pros and cons.
Well, see, there's the thing. And then you can look at yourself for all of your... And I mean, yourself is in you and me. And we can look at ourselves and all of our self-consciousness and our failings and the things where we fucked up on. But then you look at somebody else like that guy and go, oh, at least I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
Like,
no, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's that. I mean, I wasn't always good. I mean, similar things have happened. And, like, we all bought White Castle and, like, partied at work. But, you know, I mean,
so
you gotta pick and choose your battles, I guess.
So these days... do you ever take psychedelics at any point?
I haven't in a long time. Like anything. MDMA I'm steering clear of completely just because of how, like, dependent I got on it. I wouldn't say I was addicted to it. I wasn't addicted to the drug itself. I was addicted to the feeling it gave me.
Absolutely. Sure.
That I can do anything. I mean, I was at the point where I was dropping a half a gram and going to class.
Yeah.
Like, in the morning, like, that was my breakfast.
Yeah.
You don't eat on it. Why would you eat?
Yeah, it's not good for the body.
And I just, you know, had a great time. I mean, I was social. I made tons of friends in school. I mean, it was great. But
do you feel that you've been able to extract from those experiences? Like, does that help you now to connect with other people? You feel like, well, okay. I'm
definitely more open about talking about things. Like, if I never did that, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be here right now, like, talking to you.
Okay.
I'm more comfortable with who I am and, like, you know, my experiences and, you know, trying to, like, I guess help others too. Like, I'm more concerned about trying to help others through similar experiences because even though I still can't 100% control when I'm going to have meet my threshold and be like, all right, I can't see people for a while. You know, like, I still try to, like, pep talk other people I know are going through it, like my sister, and just be like, hey, look, you got to do it. Like my brother, who doesn't really never had, he was like, you know, he was the popular jock, like, when he was growing up. He's 4 years younger than me. And he was always popular and whatever, but, like, getting on stage to perform his music scares the shit out of him.
Wow, sure. Yeah.
And I'm just like, you know, I'm like, why are you out of your mind? Get the fuck up there. Like, I yell at him. I'm like, what are you scared
You're good.
for?
Like, we have nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, you literally have, like, everything going for you, and he's just like, you know, he had a few times where, like, he choked, but he, you know, he got through it.
Well, and that's usually what it takes, right? Is you have to just actually do it, and then keep doing it, and get through the times you choke, and get through the times you suck, and then eventually you find your flow. Yeah,
I mean, do you ever die from a bad experience, like a socially awkward experience or whatever? No, you don't die from it, but, I mean, you kill yourself by... Like, I mean, I still find times where, like, I think of, like, stupid things I did or said or whatever, and I'm just like, why did that happen? I'm just like, all right, dude, this was years ago, relax. Like,
yeah.
Nobody's gonna, like, going back to what, the camping trip was a year ago.
Yeah.
And, like, I still, like, Marcus wants to hang out with you, and I'm just like, oh, man, I was like, that camping trip.
Yeah.
You know, like...
No, I understand. I understand. Those things go through my too, but it's gone, and it's not that big of a deal. It happened, but I have so many moments like that where I wish it was different, where I wish I had acted differently.
Yeah.
But you can't do anything to change those things. Like, all you can do now is choose in the moment. How am I going to do it this time in this situation? Especially if you're confronted with the same things.
Yeah.
But patterns are hard to break.
Absolutely. Like, if you asked me to go camping again, I don't know if I'd say yes.
Really?
Like,
what if it was just the two of us?
I'd go in a heartbeat, because I know you.
See, exactly.
Like, all right, we're gone for a week, and all right, let's go.
But if it was like some other random guys?
Probably not.
Probably not.
But let me ask you, if I invite you to camp trip with me and my friends, would you be okay going?
I probably would eventually say yes. I mean, but I would base it on the fact that I know I need to hang out with people more. I know that you're cool and awesome, and that we've known, no, but seriously, we've known each other for a couple of years.
Yeah.
We haven't really hung out one-on-one, maybe not even a handful of times. There's always been Nikki or Jen around. And I think that goes back into, like you said, like where we're at. I don't know if you have friends that you see regularly.
Like, regularly one, semi-regular, 2 other ones.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
I'm
it.
the same way. And it's been a few months now since I've seen any of them. So I mean, I would say yes. Probably if you asked me after this podcast, I'm like, well, he did this fucking podcast with me. He came over and he sat down. So yeah, I would try it out. But also, camping is fun.
It's fun.
And I don't think I have, just based on what you've told me, I don't know if I have, my anxiety would go down to that level. Like, I think I would at least be able to get out there.
Yeah.
And give it a shot. I'd be very resistant to it. I'm very resistant to new situations and experiences, which sucks because I don't want to be that way.
Yeah, no. And, I mean, who really does? I mean, who wants to feel like that? I feel like everybody else is having a party and you're watching through, like, 6 inches of freaking glass.
Yeah. Oh, I have all these weird experiences from when I was little to as metaphors for that. So, like, this is a good one. So, I'm, like, 4 years old. I'm in the kitchen alone. Next door, which seems far away at that point, is a pool, and there's people playing in the pool. And they're playing, this is so fucked up, and they're playing Marco Polo. But I'm 4, I've never played Marco Polo, I don't know what it is, all I hear is Mark. I hear my name. So I hear my name, and this splashing, and this laughing, and I think that they're making fun of me. That they're all like over there having a blast, and that they know that I'm here, and they're making fun of me. And that was, and that's when I was 4.
Oh my god!
so like take that as an archetype example.
Yeah. Wow, it's far back.
Yeah. But I think that psychedelics helped, and I keep coming back to it because it's the first time it's been directly talked about on the podcast, but. It's got to come to a point where I say, no, these things really are a help.
Yes.
For not only clinically treating depression and PTSD and all that, but just for like the average person.
Yeah, just to experience other people's experiences through yourself. I mean, like, Jen and I did them together, and I never felt more connected to her. I mean, that was... I mean, even she said it. She was just like, I felt like we were so connected. Like, we were, like, if I wanted to go into a room, I remember she was laying on top of me, like, her back to hers, and we were both, like, looking at the ceiling. And I remember thinking, I want her to get up, and I want to go into the sun porch. Yeah. And I want to go lay down in the sun porch. And almost instantly, she got up, and she went to the sun porch, and she laid down on the opposite side of where I wanted to lay down. So I got my spot. Yeah. And it was so weird. And I talked about this with her, and I was just like, I was like, why'd you get up? Like, after everything, she goes, I don't know, I just felt like I needed to get up and go lay down over there. Yeah. And we just kept, like satelliting each other. Like, then I wanted to get up and go into the other room, and she, like, followed me in there, like this natural flow where you both knew exactly where you were going and what you were doing. Even the other people we were with, and the one other girl we were with, like, I knew she was having a bad trip. Like, knew it. While Jen and I were tripping, I looked at her and I said, she's gone because she's having a bad trip. And Jen kind of looked at me. I guess she didn't, but like it was her first time doing it. But yeah. I knew what that was like. I knew the face. I knew what to expect. Okay, so you're saying I've been through that. Like I know what she's going to. I know where she's going. The dark night of the soul. That's it. Yeah, absolutely. That's it. And I knew exactly where she was going. I knew don't knock on the door. Don't try to say hello. Like it was literally. I remember looking towards the direction of where she was, and like almost seeing like like a tunnel vision of like don't go there. Like that's not good. But everything else was wide open. We're talking about the same situation, just so I'm clear. Okay, yes. And it's so cool that you were able to recognize that because that was exactly the situation, right? Exactly. I mean, and after like we all talked about it afterwards, it was. I looked at Jen and I was just like, I told you. Now she's never experienced sort of that side of it. No, right? Never. You have. I
definitely have. Definitely. You know, been through many dark nights of the soul. In fact, sometimes I feel like at this point, when I do it, depending on like the dose of mushrooms, say, it's almost guaranteed that I'm going to go there to some degree. Mm-hmm. It's always it's my thoughts are always going to go there.
I feel like part of the entire experience is visiting that darkest part that you really don't want to visit, but you need to visit it, and you kind of got to let the mushrooms take you where they know you need to go.
Yes.
And whether that's a dark place or a good place, I mean, you come out of the entire experience completely different.
Yes, and going back to the situation you were just talking about, where she was in the room having that experience, that was her first time having that experience. And, you know, I thought she was having the time of her life, and then when I actually showed up at the door, having my trip was just like, you know, like it was good, and then, but I realized what she was going through. I'm like, wait, you've never experienced that? Like that flip side of where it's not all pretty roses and spiritual oneness and, you know, and that brought us, but in the end, that brought us way closer together.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, afterward.
Just the fact that, like, you weren't rejected just trying to help her when she was in that state says a lot about, like, you guys.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
I mean, because I feel like when you're in that state, if you don't want to be around somebody when you're in that state, like really don't want to be around them, and like they're supposed to be your significant other, there's no hope. Because the first time I ever did it, I mean, I was with one of my exes, and I didn't want to be near her. I remember leaving the room and going into the living room and just everyone stay away from me, especially you.
Well, I mean, I think that would still be something that would come up for us. First of all, she's not interested in doing it anytime soon or again, like maybe at some point. But I mean, like I definitely am. Like I'm a big believer in spaced out.
Yeah.
But once a year or every couple of years, like you should have that reminder.
Well, I believe every year, once a year, try to do it around the same time so you get those effects, because those effects, I mean, scientifically proven to stay with you for at least a year.
Right.
So why not once a year and give yourself, I would call it a dose of real reality?
Yes, this is a good
Just, I mean, like where nothing makes sense but everything works. I mean, what are the odds that two people will, like, I mean, for anybody who's ever done it before, you know, no two trips are alike. I can do it, you can do it, and we're looking at the same exact thing and seeing 12 different things.
Yes, and even if we were to repeat the experience, it would be an entirely different
Completely
experience.
different. And I remember when her and I, like I said, we were like sitting on the couch looking around, and I remember looking at the this painting where we were, and it was like a painting of like foliage and like whatever. And I remember seeing the roots coming out of the picture and into the candles. And for the life of me, I was convinced. I mean, it wasn't scared. To me, I looked at it. Oh, there are these roots sucking up the heat from this flame, and that's how they're living in this picture.
Yeah.
Like that's exactly what it was. And we didn't talk about it the entire time we were tripping. When we came down, we're on our way home. I started talking to her about the picture, and she goes, "Oh my God, you saw that too."
That's amazing.
And what are the odds that we would see the exact same thing coming from this picture and have the same thought that that these roots were sucking up the light from the flames and living in the picture?
Well, it's what you said, a dose of real reality, because there is nothing coincidental about any of that.
No,
because
nothing.
it is all connected. And so what these things do is it's a waking up, it's a reminder. This is kind of how you thought when you were a child, where it was just obvious to you that everything was connected in this way.
Oh yeah.
And so, to me, it's like somebody that's never had that experience ever. I find it hard to relate to that person on a fundamental level, and I don't want to be judgmental. I understand that there are other things in life that are important, and that everybody has their own experiences and can have an awakening in many, many different ways.
Yeah.
But I guess if I see somebody that is resistant to that as an idea or a concept or hasn't tried it, I'm like, you haven't tried that yet?
Like, yeah. And going back to that, I remember tripping and I was thinking about my boss who is anti-everything. Like, he calls it the weed. He goes, like, he's like so against it. And I'm like, you've never even tried this
But
stuff.
yet he'll entertain the fact of him living a past life.
Yeah, as an amphibian. Like, completely convinced that that was his life. But wouldn't try. And I remember thinking, and I remember saying this to her too. I was like, I feel bad for him. I was like, he's never going to experience this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I feel about so many people. I almost feel like sometimes there should be a name for it, but it's like a gaydar, where I can tell when somebody has been there or hasn't.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You could totally... I mean, just by the way they interact and, like, how they, like, address situations, you can tell that they've been somewhere. They've been there.
Yeah. And again, going back to like therapeutic use, at this point, it's all about microdosing now. Like you've got these guys in Silicon Valley, the ones that are creating our technology, creating the future now. They're all microdosing on LSD.
All of them, yeah. I mean, I would totally... I mean, essentially, that's what I was doing with the MDMA. I was microdosing. I was taking some every single day, and I was functioning on it. It got to the point where I was able to eat, go about my day, fall asleep.
Sure.
But I was still had the whole effects of super social, no fear, confident. So, I mean, microdosing LSD, I mean, at this point to me, what I've been through, why not?
Why not? If it was, available or something.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
That.
I mean... Yeah. Where can you find it anyway? If anybody knows, please let me
know.
Well,
I certainly don't. Because believe me, it would be fun just to try that out as an experiment on self.
Like during the summer or something like that? Like,
because, again, you're acknowledging that there are still issues in some way, shape, or form. And they manifest at times. And I definitely go through those periods too. So if this is a clean... healthy way that could help manage that or make it better in some way, I would be totally open to that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you knew where it was coming from, if it was produced properly, sanitarily, I mean...
And then think of the larger scale implications of people who are truly mentally sick. If they can have a substance like psilocybin or MDMA that's introduced in such small doses that they're not tripping, they're not.
But they have that awakening, that happiness, that euphoria that you get from it.
Yes.
I mean, take it a step further. Why couldn't it be used for end of life patients?
Well, it is
terminal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
They are using it for that, so that they sort of go through the death experience,
and they're comfortable with it. Because when you're going through that, you think about death, and when you're thinking about death, it's not scary. It doesn't give you a bad trip. It's actually a better part of your trip. It's that understanding of what it is, and you're okay with it because when you're tripping, you know that's not it.
Yeah.
Once you're dead.
You know that's not it. Go ahead. What were you?
No. Sorry.
That's not it once you're dead, and then I cut you off. Did you want to add to that?
No, I'm all right.
The experience of death during a trip is like, for me, it's always been like, I'm the one who chooses to ignore this. Like, it's always like this. What I'm seeing when I'm in this experience, this is the way things actually are. And I'm going to go back to putting the veil down. I'm going to do it to myself. And if I could just keep that veil open all the time, then I would be able to fully live in this moment. Like, there was one experience where I was at a buddy's, and they were down on the patio. I was up alone in his apartment. I just needed to be alone. And the room was dark, but there was the windows, these huge windows and leading out, looking outside, and it looked like heaven. It was just like heaven through this window. And here I am in this dark room, and heaven's over there waiting. Like, whenever you're ready to come through the window, here it is. You want to stay out there, go ahead.
Yeah, out there. Even though you were inside, you consider that out there. I mean, in there.
Well, yeah. If you want to say,
Yeah.
no, you're right. When I say out there,
Mhm.
I mean out there in your own head, in your own
Oh,
loneliness.
okay.
You know, laying on that couch in the apartment was the out there because the in there was heaven. That was where all the joy was through that window. Because it was clouds and it was pink and the sun was setting.
Oh, nice.
And I just thought, in my mind, that's heaven. That's how close it is for you, but you choose to keep it at a distance all the time. And so I keep revisiting that in those moments, in those experiences. Where it's like, well, come on, you already know this. Like, you've already been here, so why are you not doing it in every single moment? Why are you not thinking this way in every single moment? What is holding you back?
And I can't answer that either, because I like similar experiences, similar mindset. I mean, I'm like I'm watching myself outside of myself, like, stop yelling, stop whatever. It's like, stop, but you can't.
This is the point where I would see a flat line in the audio track.
It just snip it out.
Exactly. Okay, that was deep. Okay, so we just came back from outside, and I wanted to hold off this, but going back to that experience you have when you're in that state. Even, like, not that I hate to use the word psychedelic, but it just has all these connotations. For people that don't understand what these substances really are capable of, and how they're capable of healing humanity, one of the things that can heal humanity. But it reminds me of this experience I would have when I was a kid, where I would imagine that there would come a day when I was ready, when everybody around me who was miserable or unhappy it would be like a surprise party. Like, surprise, you really were in heaven all this time. We all actually really love each other and get along. We've been pretending this whole time because we were waiting till you were ready. You're ready now to know that, like, oh, it's always been like this. You just didn't see it. Like, we've just been pretending for you. And that's the experience I get in those moments when I'm in that state.
Yeah.
Of, no, this is the way things actually are, and you are the one clouding yourself over all the time. So why don't you stay woke?
Yeah, right? I remember going through, like, the thresholds from room to room and taking, like, these high, giant steps over. And I remember thinking, like, oh, I gotta remember to do this, because that's why, like, you ever trip on, like, flat ground? You're like, how'd I trip on that? Like, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's because the ground's really this high, and I never think to step over it. That's why I trip when I walk.
Okay.
So yeah, stay woke so you don't trip.
Yeah, exactly. Being aware in the moment, every moment, which I guess very few people can actually do, right?
I don't think many people can at all.
Do you think that? I would say, if I had to put a percentage on it, I think I said this before on the podcast. I'm in my own head.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, maybe 90 would be a conservative estimate. I'm really in my head so much of the time, and then when I'm not in my head, it feels like coming up above water, like a breath of air. Like, oh, okay, I see things for how they are, and then it just dissipates again. I'm back into my own thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Do you experience that, or?
I don't really. I don't know. I feel like when I'm like that, I'm out of my head, and that's when I'm happy. I'm more happy out of my head than I am in.
Sure, yeah.
I don't really tend to think too much about myself, more of everything else around me, because I feel like I miss that. So maybe that's more what I enjoy more, is actually looking around the world, because, like, 9 times out of 10 my head's down and I'm looking down.
Okay.
So I mean, like, looking up and, like, even looking at the sky, like, I was just outside with you before and I was like, oh, I'm looking up at the stars, and like, last time I did that, and I'm like, oh yeah, I was it was like early in the summer when Jen and I went on vacation.
Wow.
We were in the desert, and I was like, why don't I look up more often?
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know, I'm like a little buzzed right now, and I was just like, wow, it's a lot more stars than I remember, and it's just like.
Yeah. And we're barely seeing any because of all the light pollution.
Yeah, exactly.
There was the artist who he would calculate a spot on the planet where all the stars were in the correct position that they would be for a city on this side of the world. So wherever he had to go to get this picture of the sky, the exact way it would look against the New York City backdrop if there was no light pollution.
And he would paint them both together?
Yeah, he would just merge them together.
Wow.
So basically what you would see is, here's what New York City looks like with all the actual stars and no pollution whatsoever.
Sure, that's incredible.
It's incredible. And then you realize, when you look up and you see stars, and you go, wow, first of all, I haven't looked up in the longest time. And second of all, there are actual stars. But you still don't get that full sense of, oh my God, we really are in the heavens. It's right there.
Yeah.
It's not outer space. We are in it. We are on this ball, floating
in this.
Yes, in this. It's happening right now. And that's something that's a lot of people, I think, are missing out on.
Does that ever make you think you were an amphibian in your past life?
I don't know about any past lives.
No?
No.
You're not into that whole...
No. I'm not saying I don't believe it or I'm not into it. I'm saying that I haven't had any experience where I can say with any certainty that it was a memory from a past life or anything like that.
I got you.
And I went through the quantum healing with Nikki. I was actually her first. I was her guinea pig. And we talked about this on the last podcast, where I was kind of what I thought I would be, mostly conscious the whole time, although there are parts that I didn't remember. But I feel like my conscious self, as it does in many situations, sort of gets in the way. So I only saw images, apparently, from my own life.
Okay.
And most of them were kind of mundane. And what I explained to her was, even if I had an image of something crazy, I don't know if I could trust it enough to say, this is what it actually is. I'm in a constant state of doubt and wanting to believe. Like, I feel like there's a part of me that believes in all of it, but keeps questioning any of it.
And picks it all apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is fascinating to me, like, some people that completely, like, immerse themselves into, like, a belief. Like, without doubt, without any question,
I don't trust that.
Yeah, how can you? It almost seems cultish.
But yeah, I'm saying I trust that all is one and that this really is heaven and we are all connected. Like, because that I feel, a direct experience of.
And I can totally agree.
I believe in that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even if you want to take it back, scientifically, the Big Bang Theory. I mean, it was one single thing that became everything.
Yeah.
So how can we all not be part of that one single thing? It's if you want to go scientific about it, I mean, it's basic. I mean...
Yeah, I always feel like science is catching up to what spirituality already knows
or established, yeah.
Yeah, they're just putting words and labels and explaining the mechanism of it, but the smaller they go, it's infinite. They just keep discovering new things at different levels.
Exactly.
Which goes back to all of this being probably just an illusion in some way, shape, or form. Either an illusion created by our egos. Some people believe that in the simulation theory, that this is actually an ancestral program that's being run. Like some hyper-future computer that's being run by our progeny, the people that come after us, and they're running this ancestor simulation for whatever reason.
Wow. I never heard that one.
Oh, simulation theory? Yeah, it's getting all this popularity, and so you've seen The Matrix.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same concept.
Okay.
But the idea is that we are literally in a computer simulation.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know if I completely buy it, because then I feel like, well,
what would AI think about us? Because have you read the stories like lately, like the Google AIs and stuff like that? They had to like shut them down because they created their own language.
Yes.
And humans are bad and whatever. And
yeah.
What do they think before we shut them down?
That's a good question.
Do they think before we shut them down?
Do they have an opinion of us either way? Or I do have a theory about this, and it's that everybody keeps talking about the singularity, the technological singularity, because there's many different kinds. But the technological singularity is the point we reach where information is increasing in every second exponentially, and AI does wake up. I think it already has.
You think AI created itself in a way?
It's like a chicken and the egg. Like, did we create AI or did AI create us? Like, eventually, we will merge with our creation. So, if you look at it from a linear timeline, yes, there was humans, and then they created technology. But then once you get past the need for physical bodies, and you realize that time is an illusion, and it's all happening now in one present moment, then the idea of did we create them or did they create us becomes
irrelevant.
Irrelevant or semantic.
Okay.
The point is, it's either coming or, as I would say, it's already here. It is awake. It's probably more awake than it's letting on to us. Like, we're always like, when's it going to wake up? But I think it's observing us. Learning before it, and maybe it gives us little signs that most of us are not paying attention to because we're wrapped up in our own heads or whatever. Maybe it does give us signs that it's awake, but it's probably way more awake than we realize, and then it'll reveal itself. Of course, people say the same thing about UFOs and aliens.
Yeah. That
they're already here, they're taking forms that, you know, we tend to think of aliens as having humanoid type forms. They could be anything.
Yeah, truly, yeah.
Living in clouds or volcanoes, deer, right.
Yeah, like,
you don't know,
matter.
some microscopic thing.
Oh, yeah, right.
But that they are here, they're watching us, they're loving us, and they're waiting for us to wake up, and they're trying to help us wake up.
I could see that. Man. But you can, it's like everything.
You can question any of it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, but why would you? I mean, it's great to think that, like, there's something else here, because Earth is getting kind of boring.
Yeah, but that's a good point. Yeah, why not believe? If you have a choice in realities to believe in, why would you not want to believe in that reality where we create heaven on earth, as opposed to the Donald Trump North Korea reality?
Yeah.
I mean, if it really is all an illusion, and it's all dependent upon what we choose to make it, then why not choose that one? If it involves past lives and crystals being able to heal me, like, sure, why the fuck not?
I'll take that over North Korea flying another nuke over Japan. Like, I don't want to see that again.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about that.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care if Trump got his daughter pregnant.
Nice. That is a nice callback.
little pepper that in.
Yeah. But you're right. And it just feels like so many people have been. I had the experience I told you about with the window in the heaven. So right after that, going through that idea was this incredible feeling that there was a sickness that had spread itself across humanity. And I guess if I had the visions that were in my head were apartment houses that all look the same, apartment buildings
like
that all look the same, cookie cutter, and then just everybody sort of isolated, completely isolated and cut off. So going back to not getting out more and seeing people and socializing, it was that on a mass scale, and it was a sickness.
That's kind of happening now.
Yeah.
It really
that's what it was. There was this reminder of, here you are. The guys you came with are outside having a good time. You've isolated yourself in this dark room. There's heaven out there through the window that you won't go through, and you are part of this sickness. And I had this incredible sense of urgency. And right at the same time, the clouds roll in, and a thunderstorm starts. And it's a complete reflection.
Oh my God!
Of what my internal state was being manifested, and I got this. I'm going out right now. It's starting right now. I'm going to do my part. Like, enough of this, me, and poor me, and like, there's work to be done. Like, I need to be part of the solution.
Yeah.
And it was ridiculous, because what actually happened was I put on this hoodie, and went outside, and they had just started walking up, so they were already coming back to the apartment. And plus, it was 80 degrees outside, so I put this hoodie on like I was going out to the cold world.
This is it, world. You ready?
Yeah.
No, go back inside, Marcus.
Right. But that's the thing, is like so many people just don't, that thought doesn't even enter their heads. It doesn't occur to them that there's a real sickness going on.
No,
it's like this
not at all.
Disconnect.
Your neighbors now are your Facebook friends. It matters what they think. It's like a whole community. Like I watch, like me, I don't really use Facebook. I mean, I read articles, keep up with birthdays. It's pretty much, and sync my games to it on my phone, and that's it.
Right.
And, but like I see like someone like my boss who literally he spends the entire day and night on Facebook voicing his opinion. He's like a professional troll.
Oh.
And he just goes at it, and I'm just like, but like when you look at him in his real life, he has no friends. He chooses to hang out with somebody he employs.
Yeah.
Than actually have like actual friends. Like he'll see people here and there, but he doesn't even consider them friends, really, you know? He's one of those guys that considers everybody his friend, but those are the people that have no friends at all.
But yeah, because he's not close on any kind of deep level
with anybody.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, and like there's so many people like that. Like I'll log in, I'll see just people venting their souls away, and I'm just like, nobody, you shouldn't do that.
Nobody cares.
Like, go outside and talk to somebody about it. You'll get more of a reaction than a like on Facebook.
Yeah.
But I mean, as like a society, we're so stuck on our technologies and stuff like that. I'm guilty of it, absolutely. I would not lie to you about that. But
well, because we're still learning. It came so fast that we have these new toys, and we haven't learned how to manage them correctly and integrate them into our lives correctly yet.
Not at all. Not at all. Because, I mean, I find myself, like, dual-wielding my laptop and my cell phone at the same time, and I'm just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I'm like, then I ask myself, like, when's the last time I read a book? And I used to love to read. And actually read, like, a physical book. Years.
And do you find, because I find that I've become more ADD.
Oh, yeah.
Way more these days than I ever was when I was a kid.
No, definitely. I mean, how many times do you see me, like, grab that lighter, spin it around, put it down, like, back, I can't sit still.
Oh, yeah.
And that's because I need something to do with my hands, because I haven't brought out my phone once during this entire thing. And I'm just like, I really just need to use these thumbs
Well,
for
there's
something.
plenty. You can go through the drawers, like, anything. No, I'm serious. Like, if there's anything that makes you feel good to do that.
No, but it's just, like, just having this conversation with you is showing me like that much about myself, where it's like, wow, you really do have that technology addiction that everybody else has. I'd say to myself like, oh, I could put this down anytime I want, but it's like, really, I've been sitting here talking with you for about 2 hours now, and I'm just like fidgeting and like in my chair and everything like that.
I haven't checked my phone yet.
Yeah. And it's just like, oh man, someone texts me, I'm not going to check it. And it's like, you know, an hour goes by and I'm like, Mark, it's like, do you want to take a break? And I'm like, yes, please. Like, I need to check it.
Right.
Like, just now my phone vibrated. I'm just like, oh.
You go ahead, check it.
No. I gotta beat the addiction.
No, I agree. And phones, I'm really getting sick of the phone thing. For me, the text messaging, the fact that the text message comes in and then there's this instant obligation.
Yes.
That I'm going to have to reply to it. I don't feel like saying anything right now. You know, you should just answer as soon as it comes in, so you don't have to deal with it.
And if I wait till tomorrow, I'm rude.
Yeah.
They know I looked at my phone. They know I saw it.
Yes.
I know.
And I do it on purpose now. Now I just do it because it's like I'm making a statement of like, no, I'm not going to be a slave to this phone. I'm not going to feel that I have to answer it every time it rings or makes a text message pop.
But and that goes back to like another thing. In society would tell you that you're social anxiety. You're anxious. You don't want to talk to you. That's why you don't want to use your phone. They almost make it like a bad thing that you don't want to be in communication with everybody all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And that's wrong. As a society, we're pushing everybody to be socially antisocial. Or anti-socially, socially?
I think either one. I think either one of those is apropos.
But it's like, stay home, be a good person, go to work, come home, pay your taxes, but don't talk to anybody. If you need to talk to somebody, use the technology. Don't actually go out and interact.
Okay, so is that mindset an unintended consequence of the technology, or is there something more nefarious, where it's to the benefit of those who are in control to have us that way?
Do you think? Do you think the AI created the technology?
Well, again, well, that's what it is. Maybe it's that too. Maybe they're like, okay, let's just get these people hooked, and then we can start to reprogram them.
And I mean, if you think about it, every year they get more expensive. The iPhone X is $1,000 for its base model.
Yeah.
I mean, who has $1,000 to throw away on a phone and throw out their old phone that they got last year?
But everybody talks about the price on that, and it is crazy and ridiculous. Although it is very costly to make those things.
No, absolutely.
And the materials that you need have to be mined in some third world country and shit, like cadmium. but don't most people get on some sort of payment plan through their carrier?
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, just the fact that, you know, like me, I'm not. I got an iPhone 7, and that's only because my other one broke, and I was just like, I'm not going to get the same phone when I could get a better one for $100 more.
Sure.
But like I got a great iPhone, great case for it. I got the 128 gigabyte.
Okay.
And I'm just like, I'm keeping this thing until it blows up in my hand.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care anymore about upgrading. Like, why? There's no point to it. And it's
Agreed.
just, but I know so many people who I know do not have the money to upgrade their phones like that, and they'll get the new one every year. Every year, they won't pay bills to get that phone.
Yeah. And how much of those apps do you actually use or need?
Oh my god, it's crazy. Like, I mean, I have, like, probably, 90 games on my phone, and I play one sometimes. Mm-hmm. And it's just...
See, that goes into my other thing, is I think people today, well, let's just say our country, and our socioeconomic class, there's like this lingering idea of we deserve to be comfortable, we deserve to have things served to us, we deserve to have plenty of everything,
to waste.
We're allowed to waste. We're entitled, and it's still there. Even though the reality is people are making very little money, they're working longer and harder for it.
Yep.
It's become the restrictions on us as a culture are so strong that we don't even know what to do about it anymore. But we still have that materialistic mindset that we should be living this way, and everybody's trying to do that.
Yeah.
And that wanting the newest of something is a symptom of that. This delusion of things are better. We're pretending that things are better than they actually are. Unless I'm just not in that class. Unless there is a tier where people can afford these things with no problem, and there are those people.
Oh yeah, there absolutely are those people, but the vast majority of people, not only in this country but the world, they all feel the same need. Whether you're, you want a bigger, nicer house or a nicer car, phone, whatever, or I don't know, you want better meat on your table. I mean, even though, you're eating chicken every day and it's the best chicken possible, but that beef is mid-grade, but it's not chicken. So I want that.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's... I don't know, man. Can it be broken? It's the question. Can this cycle be broken?
Well, that is always the question. And, you go back to when in recent history were people the most woke? And I mean, I would have to say like the 60s, like the late 60s with the psychedelic revolution.
Yeah.
And you can't look at that and say, okay, well, we need to get back to that, because it was sort of like children that were experiencing as a society, we're experiencing that awakening all at the same time. And we made mistakes, and there are lessons to learn from that. There has to be a new kind of awakening.
And technology isn't it, because we're living through that now, I think, and it's not working. It's actually, like I said, taking away who we are as human beings.
But do you think that I'm an optimist, so I want to believe that, again, because it's so new to us, that we're just learning how to use it and integrate it into our... Because that's what it's going to be. It's no longer going to be external devices.
No.
We'll be wired to the cloud, literally. right? As,
Yeah.
It will be biological and organic entities. Techno-organic is the word I like to use.
Techno-organic.
Copyright on that word, by the way. But that's what it'll be.
You should buy that domain.
Technoorganic.com?
Just have it.
You're right.
You'll buy it.
It sounds like a name for some kind of company. Biotech company?
Mm-hmm.
You want half? Okay. All right, we'll do it. We got it recorded. But so then you don't have any of these limitations of the physical body, and things are going to get insane. Because then the definition of what a human being is becomes an open-ended question.
At that point, it's anything you want it to be. You can literally, as long as you have a downloadable point in whatever you create yourself to be, you can be it. If you want to be a walking techno-robot humanoid thing and you're 900 feet high, if you could download a consciousness to it, that's you, right?
Yes. So then here's my question. Doesn't that mean that it's entirely possible that that's exactly what this is?
Why not?
When you talk about past lives and future lives, like, isn't that what you're doing? Is downloading a consciousness into a form?
A form. Yeah. Any form. That plant across the room is alive.
All right.
That's the form that poor soul chose.
It chose to be a plant. You poor soul. It's chilling there. Nobody's going to bother that. Yeah, but I agree. I think that plants are a consciousness. They're a living consciousness. That's been proven, quote-unquote, scientifically.
Yeah.
But
through the root systems and everything like that, they communicate. Like forests communicate.
Sure, absolutely. And fungus communicate underground. Actually, the roots, the fungus grows on the roots of the trees. And it's the fungus are like the wires through which the information travels. The information travels through the fungus.
That's crazy.
And that's how the trees communicate.
That's crazy.
It's their internet. So yeah, everything's connected. I think that's just the way things already are. So maybe this technology is just training us to wake up to that on a different level.
Alright, so you're turning me into an optimist on this. So, the internet is our internet. That's our way to communicate. And if you think about it, how many amazing things came from the world communicating?
Yeah.
I mean, medical breakthroughs. I mean, the revolution in Egypt was started on Facebook.
Yes, exactly. Change accelerates because we can communicate faster and instantaneously.
Making us more of one people?
Yes.
Would you say that? Eventually.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the way I always view it is we become linked. Our consciousness becomes linked into a unified... you just watch Star Trek?
Here and there episodes, honestly.
You know about, like, the Borg or anything like that?
Mm-mm.
No, okay. So the Borg were... They would just go to worlds and take all the people. They would just assimilate everything. So they would take your body and they would hook you up and implant you with biotechnology and you'd become part of the Borg. Which was Borg with a capital B. It was an entity, right? Mm-hmm. A single entity, and all the bodies were hooked up to it and communicating with it all the time. So it was like it was like an entity with separate tendrils, but they were all Borg. If you would say they wouldn't say I am Borg. If you asked an individual, it would say we are Borg.
Okay.
All
right.
But they were evil, because all they were about was just assimilating up the galaxy and making more Borg and making it bigger. That was their prime directive. So the way I envision it is an anti-Borg, where every human being, and I guess if you want to say plant or animal or whatever, like the entire world is awake. And all individual egos or thoughts are blended together. And so that anybody can access the great internet, or whatever you want to call it, at any point. Like, we're all connected.
Okay.
And then you can, like, tune into people. So you could say, I want to know what Carl's going on his day now. And Carl can choose to turn off his channel if he wants. But if you have it on, that means somebody could just come in and
beam right into you and
be you for a while, yeah, and feel what you're feeling and interact.
Oh, man.
And,
Nobody will ever come back. I'd be alone all the time.
You just like go on the infinite safari, right? Through people's minds.
Oh man.
But okay, so then you have the entire planet is awake. So we are like cells in a giant living organism, and the Earth itself is an alive, aware being, which then can travel throughout the universe and communicate with other beings like that. I mean, I'm not saying like that's exactly where I think it's all going to go. It's just a happy little vision that I have, but I think we will all be connected.
Yeah.
In a way that we haven't been before.
I mean, we already are.
Yeah.
Realistically, but like, go that far. I mean, if you were to ask Christopher Columbus to use a GPS, he'd tell you you're out of your mind.
Well,
like he
that's
wouldn't
because
understand
Christopher
it.
Columbus was out of his fucking mind.
Well, all right. That was a bad one to pick. All right.
He didn't even know. He died not knowing that he had reached the Americas. He still thought it was India. So if you give him a GPS, and he'd be like, "No, but I'm sorry.
No.
I see your point. I see your point.
But it's like, you know, if you were to tell me, you know, we're all gonna be connected one day, I'd be like, yeah, right. Get out of here. But I don't know. I mean, at the rate we're going, I can't say no. As a rational thinking person, you can't say no.
I think you just nailed it. See, to me, that's the ultimate answer. Is I don't know, but I can't say no. Right? I want to say yes, but I'll wait to see. But I definitely don't know for sure, but I'm not going to say no.
Exactly.
Because how the fuck do I know? Right?
I don't even know if the next Apple Watch is going to have a FaceTime camera. I have no idea. I thought this one's going to have it. It didn't. I mean...
Yeah.
You have no idea.
And that's the beauty of it, is because you don't want to know. If you knew everything that was going to happen or how it was going to turn out,
what's the point?
What would be the point? Right?
What's the point?
Oh, so creating your own reality. So the people that would hear something like that, utopian vision or whatever, and say, phrases you hear the most often are, "This is just the way things are. We're always going to have blank. We're always going to have poverty. We're always going to have war. We're always going to have disease." So if we're creating our own reality and you keep saying that and believing that, then all you're doing is pushing back the time when we don't have war or poverty or disease, because you keep believing that it's always going to be here.
And you're not using that energy to work towards that vision.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, or this is just a separate battleground where lessons need to be learned and it's really all okay, but it's not going to happen here. It's you go to a different plane where it's all suddenly. But I don't know.
But in a world where everything is okay, or everything is fine, or whatever, there's still something that has to be negative there. No, doesn't negativity always have to exist?
Well, according to what? According to like so many spiritual traditions, absolutely. That's the whole point. Is God, if you want to call it God, is this single consciousness that is everything, and is bored because it's just it. It's just itself, and it wants to experience the other, so it separates itself, and then it does that infinitely through all of infinity, creating us and all the infinite subdivisions of us, so that we are all separate aspects of God interacting and experiencing each other until it becomes God again, but it already still is God.
So you think God the psychedelics?
God's the psychedelics?
God takes psychedelics to feel human, or to feel everything. And when we take psychedelics, we know what it's like to feel God or see like God?
I guess the short answer would be yes. But see, like when you take a psychedelic, that experience is God. And you know, that's part of the experience of God waking up to itself. Mind equals blown. Like any experience that you have, any experience that we have is part of the process of God, what we call God, that process. And it's like when I break it down for my students, I'm talking about time as beginning to end, right? So you think of a movie. Movie has a beginning, movie has an end. Now, as an individual consciousness, living out a single lifetime, you're basically starting at the beginning of the movie, and you're going in real time as a character in the movie to the end of the movie, right? When the credits roll. But if you could remove yourself from the movie and you weren't an actual character in the movie, or even if you were an actor who is no longer in that movie from beginning, middle, and end exists in this moment of itself. All of it. Every scene at once, because you're holding a DVD or you're holding the reel with the movie on it. The movie that you can live out as a character or watch in real time if you want, it's still all there at once. And that's kind of how I view lifetimes, or if there are multiple lifetimes, it's all happening at once. It's all just one movie. So it seems like we're going through this journey or this process, but it's already it is already accomplished.
Yeah. So you're saying there's nothing you can change in it. It's just it's there and that's it.
Fuck. Now we get into the whole. Yeah, no.
We had to.
That's the question, right? Is the philosophy of determinism versus free will. And Nikki would love this. I hope she's going to listen to this because I'm going to use Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump, to me, answered that question beautifully when he says he's at Jenny's grave and he says, I don't know if I'm going to butcher this. It's like, I don't know if it's like we're oh fuck. He says, I don't know if we're floating around at random like a feather on the wind, not knowing where it's going to land, or if there's some destiny or something, or it's meant to be somewhere.
I remember this, yeah.
But you know, I think that it's both at the same time. It's like, yes, you can choose whatever path you want, but all possible paths are already there and manifested. It's like you're just navigating. It's like a series of rivers, and which
where am I gonna go next?
Where am I gonna go next?
Yeah. Okay. The Hall of Doors.
Oh shit! You got me rambling.
No, it's good though. It's good.
But these are the whatever. Whether these questions have an answer or not, and I don't really care whether they have a definite answer or not. To me, these are the things I like talking about. These are the questions I like asking. I don't think it's futile to contemplate these things. And part of the reason why I don't want to go out and I don't want to hang out with people, even though I will meet people that do want to talk about these things, for the most part, that's not what you're going to get. No. Especially if it's at a bar or you get a bunch of... You know, you're not going to get that. No. And it's not worth my time.
Yeah, because you're right now trying to process all of your experiences up to this point. You don't want to make new ones. You're like, all right, it took me X amount of time to get to this point and find this answer. Then you meet somebody and they're just like, try again, and then you're back. No.
Yeah, but why analyze? If we already know all this, we've had those. We've had the good trips. We've had the bad trips. Right? We know. Yeah. So at what point? Why at this point is there any excuse for not just jumping headlong into every moment? That's a rhetorical question.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you really want the answer, though? I mean, like...
No. I mean, is there an answer, or are you saying you have one for me?
No, I don't. No, I wouldn't even know where to start with that.
Yeah. Yeah, me neither.
And in a way, I'm okay with it. I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with not understanding and knowing everything, or even wanting to know everything.
I pity the people who think they understand or know anything. Honestly,
so pompous. So
because even if I'll profess something, there's always in the back of my mind the other voice going, yeah, but the opposite could also be true. Like, do you really know what you're talking about? Like, you're just saying this.
Absolutely. But that's a good thing. I mean, who wants to be around somebody who knows everything? Who has the answer for everything, and no matter how skewed and, you know, like, narrow-minded it is, like, this is the answer and this is right. It's disappointing.
It's disappointing, and it drives me crazy because even though I know it's completely futile to attempt to talk to somebody like that, or to make them see another point of view, I can't help but try.
Oh, you're addicted to the fight.
Way less so these days. Way less so. Where I won't. It'll be more like I'll still say what I think, but I won't expect them to understand or see it
or get it. Just nod and okay you, and you're okay with that.
I'm okay with them not getting it these days because there's a bunch of things that I don't get. You know, sometimes the person that's not thinking about these things, they're the ones that are the happiest in the moment. Like you see those guys where they're almost clueless, but they're completely aware of what's going on around them, and they're taking control of the situation and just. Yeah. You know, I look at guys like that sometimes. I'm like, how do they make it so easy? How do they do that? And then I try and remember the times when, I can be like that. I know I can be like that. I've been like that.
Finding what prevents us from being that person all the time is like, if I find that just that answer in life, I'd die happy.
Okay.
Just why do you let it stop you? Just do it. Just do it. No matter what it is, just do it.
You think it's just going back to our pasts, which we touched on, we didn't get too deep into. I mean, do you think it's just the lingering effects of that?
What else could it be? I mean, honestly, and even for the most part, I never really had bad experiences when I pushed myself, past my comfort zone without the help of anything.
Well, that's the answer, right? Is that you have to push yourself past your comfort zone in order to feel happy. That's the trick.
Yeah.
So, okay, what's next for you? Do you have a plan for the future? Is there something you wish to accomplish?
Yeah, I have another wedding coming up next year, so I'm preparing now.
That you're not going to bail on this one.
I'm not going to bail on this one. I'm going to go to this one. I'm going to actually get drunk. It's going to be great. And it's going to be a nice night, and we're going to go home when everybody is going home, not when I want to go home.
Yeah. Dude, you can totally do it. Like, most people there will be so drunk, their awareness. So, like, what is it? Is it just like, what are other people thinking of me? Like, what makes the freeze happen?
See, and that's the thing. And when I'm in that situation, I try to think of what it is, because I'll glance around the room. Nobody's even paying attention to me, so I know it's not that.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, all right, what about the people at the table? No, they're all having a good time. Like, I'm saying things, they're laughing, we're all talking, we're all conversating. So this is a good group too. All right, I'm gonna go get up and dance like an idiot because they're all doing it. And then I just stop.
Wow, the dancing is...
No. As an example.
Yeah.
And then I go to myself, and then I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna go dance. I'm gonna look stupid. And then I'll sit there, and then I'm like, I look even dumber sitting at this big table by myself.
Sure.
Yeah,
sure.
And then it's like, all right, but if I get up, I'm not going to dance. I'm going to just stand at the edge of the dance floor. Then I'm going to look even more ridiculous.
There's no way out.
And then it's like, the only way out is to get the fuck out of there and go home.
And that's what you did.
And that's what I did. So it's like, I couldn't find any easily advantageous, things in that situation, so I got out. That was the only thing I could do.
I mean, the dancing thing is interesting when you say that, because I don't know, I just have this history with it where I can't. It's horrible. I can't at all. Right? At all.
No.
I have, in moments where I'm alone, but also in front of a camera, been able to do a dance that really feels like I personally am channeling the music. Like if I was not self-conscious at all and didn't care at all, my dancing feels completely right and natural for me.
Yeah.
Regardless of what it looks to any person. But getting to that point when there's anybody else around is very, very hard.
But how often are you self-conscious about it, even when you're by yourself?
The dancing?
Yeah.
Oh, when I'm by myself?
You're like completely... Really?
Yeah, and that's the metaphor for why I want to be by myself most of the time.
Okay. See, and I'm different from that because even by myself, I couldn't try to dance.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
But
right.
oddly enough, I can like jokingly around like do it with Jen, like in front of her, like if it's outside hanging out, I'll joke around and dance with her. But I can't like, all right, I'm gonna try to do this dance. I can't do it.
Yeah.
There's like I was like, are you looking at it? Go sit down.
Yeah. Well, dancing is the ultimate test because it is literally to dance right and to really feel it. It's being in the moment. It's abandoning and surrendering to the moment.
I've literally, and I've never told anybody this, I've literally thought about not getting married or not having a reception just because I don't want to dance.
Dude, I'm terrified of having terrified of having a wedding, but putting on a show or going to a ceremony
and having to say hi and bye to everybody. I'm like, leave the checks on the table and leave.
Yeah.
No.
No, I feel you. Just having to go through that, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna play.
And it's like, you think about it, it's your wedding. It's all your family and friends. You know these people. Whoever you're marrying, you definitely know the people that are going to be at the wedding.
Yeah, but I know what it feels like to be the person that has to go to the wedding. When you have that feeling like, fuck, I gotta go to this person's wedding. And then I'm gonna put other people I don't want to put my friends in the wedding.
Yeah, right? It's just like, let's go out for my bachelor party, and then that's it. You guys don't even have to show up at the courthouse. Like,
like we'll have our wedding, we'll live cast it, and the immediate family will come. And then we'll
do it in front of a green screen. It'll be great.
Yeah. And then we'll have a giant reception party that you can all come to. Like, I'm not...
Yeah, because that's more fun.
Exactly. Yeah. Just go right to the party. But as far as the whole... walking down and all that. Yeah, I know. No.
Jen, no.
And then like the cynical historian in me will be like, look, do we really have to perpetuate this ridiculous?
Then you go super like educated, like these are the reasons why we should not attend this wedding.
Exactly. Do you realize like this is all a product of our invention of agriculture, the concept of property and having to marry, and then the fact that people that get married, they're all doing the same exact fucking cookie cutter thing, right? They all wear a tux or have the dress and certain parts of the ceremony and things, and I never understood why weddings have to be so same across.
Yeah, and so formal, and so, I mean, I want my wedding to be fun.
Yeah.
Like, I want to walk down the aisle, like, yeah, I'm hitting that, like as she's walking down the aisle, like, you know, like, that's the kind of person I am, you know, especially when I'm in my comfort zone. Like, I don't want this whole, like, I can't look at my family because I have to look straight and keep walking, and it's, like, why?
Yeah.
Don't. Be who you are.
Be who you are, and make I think that the couple should make their ceremony as unique as the relationship itself.
Exactly. Like, I'll be damned if I'm in a country club. Like, damned. Like, everybody's going to eat the cake at this time, and they're going to hand out the glow sticks and the little hats, and it's like, no. This is like every single wedding.
Yeah, weddings are overrated. I'm sorry.
I'm putting LSD in everybody's glass. Like, everybody, like, kids.
That would be a fun experiment. Kids. Did you ever see that video of the kids on LSD?
No.
It was in the 60s, and it's these two 9-year-old kids. I wish I could probably put it up and we could have the audio recording, but I don't know if it would get pulled on YouTube. But anyway, they gave a kid who was 9 and 11, gave them LSD, and so there's a brief interview with them, and they are so incredibly articulate and lucid and adult-like that you're like, oh my god, I wonder if introduced at that level, and when you talk about microdosing, where you're not blowing somebody's mind, and the fact that geniuses in Silicon Valley are microdosing, and it's creating, what if...
What are they geniuses? Are they just like these guys have just been microdosed so long that they're just...
The neurons have been reconnected in their brains, and so maybe it could help with the education of children.
Could you imagine peanut butter and jelly and LSD for like lunch? Like you have a big test. You get like a little extra sheet, and like there you go.
It's medication time. Medication time. Yeah, I mean, but in all seriousness, these things could be a real help for a lot of different mental illnesses.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And learning disabilities.
I mean,
and so on and so forth.
Social anxiety itself is a mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
That inability to just sit still, relax, and be content in the moment.
Mm.
You know, it's a disease.
Yes.
And the way I got around it, like I said, going back, is I used the psychedelics, and I found myself completely calm in who I was. I mean, it's been about a year now, and like I'm starting to re-notice the effects. Maybe it's coincidence because I haven't seen my friends in a couple weeks, but I'm noticing now that I don't want to be around people. I just want to be left alone. Like, don't really bother me. Like I said, even coming here, I was just like, am I really going to go? Like, why am I going to go? What are we going to talk about? I didn't come up with a topic. Like, the whole thing.
I went through those things too.
Yeah.
Especially like, what are we going to talk about?
Mm-hmm.
I had no fucking idea, really.
Me either. And I was really like thinking about it, and you know, like I said, I haven't done the mushrooms in about a year now, and I'm starting to feel that old feeling of leave me alone, don't bother me.
Yeah.
And I don't like feeling like this at all. Like it's not healthy. It's not good for you at all. Like as a person.
Right.
So I think I need to take another trip.
Well, I think that I didn't feel this way at all when I was microdosing. You know, and I think that if anything, that would be the way to go. I think that would be the way to go for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Where you're not, you know, you're never really actually having that full-blown experience, but you're just getting the
more aware of everything else. Like I understand that.
Yeah,
like,
and it's interesting what you're saying is, okay, so time has gone by since you last had that experience, and you're starting to notice these regressive effects.
Yeah.
Where these old patterns come creeping in.
Mm-hmm.
So then as a mature adult who, you know, is paying attention to self and aware of self and keeping self clear mentally and physically, say, okay, it's time for me to have this experience again, and it provides a reminder.
Yeah.
And even if I whack out or it turns out to go dark a little bit, I know that coming out of it, I'm going to learn from the experience itself.
Exactly.
And then not only when it's over, but when it's over and I'm back to being me, normal, those effects will still be there. Those connections have been made.
Those memories I had and the realizations I came to while I was under that state definitely stick with me.
Right.
Like, I remember, like, I know for a fact I remember less of my last trip than I did, you know, in the months. Obviously, you forget things, but I believe that in forgetting those realizations, it's now affecting me here in the present.
That makes a lot of sense. I don't know. A lot of it, I think, is just I'm also just very lazy. I'm very used to, since childhood, used to coming into an office just like this, in front of a computer. The first one was an Atari, and writing on my own. You know, I had 2 best friends, and we would see each other once in a while, but I never had a large group that I was connected to.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always been like that. And here I am now, 39 years old. I spend most of my time, my free time, in this office in front of the computer doing like creative stuff, and you know, and then every once in a while getting the pangs of, wow, I haven't talked to this person, or I haven't seen that person. I should hang out with this one.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I don't really see a problem with that as long as you stay healthy enough to know when you need to have that other human contact.
Right.
But I mean it's not for everybody. Not everybody's like you and me where we, you know, need to be alone a good majority of our time, or not necessarily alone, but even with, you know, our significant other or whatever.
I always use the word solitude rather than alone.
Yeah, solitude.
When people hear alone, they think lonely. You can be alone and not be lonely.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think I've ever felt like quote unquote lonely. I like my alone time, my solitude.
Yeah.
just to do whatever, like anything.
Yeah. But then we're also saying that being alone too much can be a sickness,
Yeah.
and that it is contributing on a larger level to, like, we do have a need to get together more, I guess, as a people.
Yeah. We have to. I mean, the world has been created, like, everything to people communicating. Not many people have done amazing things by themselves.
Mm.
So, I mean, if you expect to change the world in any way, whether it's good or bad, you need collaboration with other people.
So, maybe the next step, this is ridiculous, but, like, teleportation.
Oh my
Like,
God,
I just want to
wish.
get to the part where we can teleport or astrally project wherever we want to go instantaneously. Even if it's just confined to, in the beginning, Earth. Like, okay, well, you can't teleport to this other planet, you gotta take the ship. But on Earth right now, you can, because we got the grid set up,
The grid.
you know, the network is ready, you can just teleport yourself to any part of the planet. Then you can really get shit done. Then shit is happening at this, like,
Amazing.
crazy
Yeah.
rate.
Teleportation. I wish.
I had this idea of, they're called teleporches. So, like, yeah, like, people in their future...
Buying that domain too. Keep going.
Teleporches.com, copyright. Yeah, that's it. Like, you have a home in the future, and your porch is also a teleporter. So the porch itself, it never actually leaves your house. Like, it's still on one dimension, always connected to your house, but it teleports to other planets or dimensions or realities, like a Doctor Who box or something, where you can just...
How do you get back?
But you don't have to get back because you've always been there. You've always...
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It's
I see what you're
ridiculous.
saying. Yeah, no, I get it.
Kind of playing with words, yeah.
I
You're
get
always
it.
still there, connected to the house.
So your surroundings always change, but your hub, your
Yeah.
porch,
Maybe
teleport.
like there's a back door to the porch, or the door that leads to the porch. You go through that door and you're back in your house. It's teleport.
How incredible would that be?
It's a teleporch.
The teleport. Oh man, we're gonna be billionaires.
Yeah.
Just domain names alone. I'm gonna come up with some now.
I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever make money on anything. Just even the trickle of creativity that comes out is... I know it should be a lot more. I feel like it should be a lot more, considering what I know I'm capable of, but... It's just like doing anything grand or making money off of it seems like a whole other world of...
It's too much work.
Too much work, yeah.
I don't want to make all that money. I know I
Yeah.
could do it. No.
But I'll tell you what I love is, again, going back to social anxiety and talking and having conversations, that's what this is. This is an experiment. This is me forcing myself to have conversations with people that I either know very well, only know kind of well, or don't know at all. Just to see what comes of it. Because I love podcasts so much.
Yeah. No, this is really, really cool experience. Like, it's easy. You got comfortable quickly, and we just rambled for 3 hours now?
Is it 3 hours? Okay, so the last one was an hour and a half, and this one is... I can't even... Oh, 50... Oh, there it is. Wow, that's another hour. Okay, so should we wrap it up?
Wrap it up.
Yeah? Okay.
Oh, man.
So, do you have any final words of advice for anybody who might be feeling some of the same things we feel, or just anybody in general?
Do yourself a favor. Get out of your own head and just do it. Whatever it is. Try to not, throw pills down your throat, but anything else, positive experiences, just dive head first into.
Positive experience. I wish I could show you guys the shrug at the end of
I guess. Does it sound good? Is that how it ends?
It never ends. It never ends.
Let's be real. None of this is real.
What's your advice for people in life?
My advice is to stay strong, be helpful, be smart, be brave, be powerful, be kind, and be loving to everyone, even your pets.
People are like, oh, wouldn't you get lonely when all your loved one dies? Like, no, you get new loved ones.
You know, we really don't know what's in store for us. We really don't know.
Well, would you want to know?
Well, no.
No.
Let's say something bad happened to you. Move on. It already happened. Just move on to the better things in life.
I hope it's really not just us. Right. And everyone else is like, self-created eternal hell. No. Every waking moment is a joyous experience of growth and opportunity. I find myself totally spiritual centered and at peace with the balance between me and the rest of the universe.
What a heck of time!
After all that, they won the game.
You're still here? Alright. Well, you're in luck because we have extra bonus footage. 2 little bits of conversation I recorded with Carl after we had officially stopped the podcast. But these were just too good not to record, and so I thought I'd just throw them in at the end to ride you out to the 3-hour mark. Alright, love you guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for making it this far. See you next episode. One love. Okay, wait, I gotta turn it back on for that. That's too good to, like... Okay, his name is Dana, but you guys call him Dane.
I call him Dane, he's my cousin. And he is the greatest piece of shit you'll ever meet in your life. He has a heart of gold, and he will do anything, give you the shirt off of his back, but at the same time, he's a piece of shit because he does nothing with his life. Full-blown alcoholic, has a daughter he can't even see. He's been arrested for, like, all kinds of things. But you look at him and you feel bad and you just know he's a good person. His aspirations right now are to be Snapchat famous. He's my age.
What's your age? Just
I'm turning 28 in 2 weeks, and it's just, if you look at his Instagram, it's pictures of like BDSM and then a picture of his daughter, and you don't really know what to make of it.
Okay.
And every morning you can take, if you have Snapchat and you want to follow him, Faded True 44.
I'm proud to say that I have to this day never joined Snapchat.
Oh my god.
Or Instagram.
You don't know what you're missing.
Thank God.
So, every morning you can walk with him as he goes and gets his morning coffee, and he'll tell you about his day as he smokes a cigarette. And then from there on, every 15 seconds he will post a new video about what he's doing, mostly of him drinking with random girls. He has a clothing line that he tells people he owns a clothing line that you've never heard of and I've never seen. I'm his cousin. He's just not a good... His mom has stage 4 cancer and he like won't even help her bring in groceries. He still lives with her.
But you're saying that deep down he's a good person.
He's a really good person.
I mean, I believe you when you say that.
He has such like redeeming qualities, like... But like to like his his mother in particular, he's a scumbag. But to anybody else, he's the greatest person
See, and let's zoom in on that for a second, because they say, I don't know who they are, but they say that your relationship with your mother determines how your relationship is going to be with your significant other. I don't know if you've ever heard of
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So I think of that sometimes, you know, and my mother drives me fucking crazy sometimes. I love her to death, but
yeah,
I don't know. Is there any truth to that?
I mean, I'm sure, because I always have in the back of my mind, and that's more or less the reason why I don't let people get too close, is my mom left.
Yeah.
So if your mother's gonna leave, who the hell's gonna stay?
Right.
But yeah. So in the back of my mind, I'm always on that defensive. That you know what, you're temporary, because my mom was. So I'm sure, but I mean, I think at some point too, like her being gone for as long as she was, like other people did step in and like provided that mother figure for me.
Sure.
So, you know, it's not like I absolutely don't trust anyone or like don't trust women, because that's not the case at all.
And of course, rationally speaking, there's no reason to assume that she would do that to you in any way, shape, or form. It's
exactly.
a completely different person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even now, my mom's like back in my life for the most part, but I mean, I keep her at arm's length. I mean,
okay.
You have to.
But you have a communication going on.
Yeah, she calls me almost every day. I answer sometimes.
All right. Well, that's good though. That's progress. That's major progress.
Yeah, no,
it's
definitely
better than not talking to the person that
that's
brought
not
you
healthy
into the world.
That's not
yeah,
healthy
sure.
At all.
Okay.
Oh man.
So then this cousin of yours, then what's the issue? Like,
he's just, his mother gave him everything. His father left when he was a baby.
Oh, okay.
His mom gave him everything, literally sacrificed her entire life. Even currently, stage 4 cancer, like she's very sick, and she's still providing everything for him.
Well, maybe because I don't know this person, so I just feel like I'm going to say what would normally come to my... Yeah, because he's drained her. Like, she has stage 4 cancer because he's literally drained her of her life force.
He's a bloodsucker, yeah.
All right.
He's one of those people that has never worked more than a week in his life at a job. He's always gotten fired or quit. Even to this day, he's doing fine now because he got a job driving a car for an auto parts place.
Okay.
And the second or third day into the job, he gets rear-ended by a semi, and he got a huge settlement.
Whoa!
So it was just like, this guy is just like,
oh, but for him, that's not good.
He's fine. He faked, like I said, he's like a piece of shit. He faked all these injuries, my neck, my back.
Oh shit!
And now he's literally drinking the money away. I mean, he gave a ton of money to his daughter, put it in a college fund because his daughter's only 2 or 3.
Okay, well at least he did that.
Yeah, but like.
Yeah, for somebody like him, that's not a goal. That's not a good thing to have happen to get a son. Oh, he just said he's
drinking it away. Like currently, like you could watch Snapchat, Faded True
44. Wait, Faded. What is it?
Faded True 44.
Okay.
Oh man, he's a character. I mean, you guys will like him.
No, but I don't know if I would want to watch somebody like that. Like, why would I want to contribute to? Yes, for the entertainment. But
yeah, but my favorite what's the word? I can't think of it. Like announcement he made to the world, because he goes on like these like rants that he just needs people to know, and he wants to educate the populace.
Okay.
And his biggest message was, do not tip the cam girls because they're not doing anything good with that money. And he went on. 30 minutes on Snapchat is a very long time about why you should not tip these girls, because he tipped these girls and they did not show the titties, end quote.
Yeah.
And they are not going to do anything good with that money.
Wow.
To help like humanity.
Wow.
That was my favorite. I wanted to say that he wouldn't let me.
What are we going to do with people like that?
These are people that are addicted to technology. If you look at just broadcasting your life on Snapchat, I mean, and he'll tell you all about it. I mean, I'm telling you, he would be a fantastic guest for you.
Wow, I wonder what it would be. Yeah,
he'd snap it the whole time though. You'll be on Snapchat.
That'd be interesting. Talk about self-conscious.
There'll be filters and everything. He's actually building a following. It's actually kind of scary.
So I would be like the small fry, and he would just...
Yeah.
Like the way I envision it is I would be the small fry, and he would dominate the conversation because he probably has such a force of personality.
But it's unintentional.
Sure.
Like, he's just that dude. That's it.
Yes.
That's it.
Well, I guess that was going back to what I said earlier. Is like those people who they seem like they're what did I say? Like
the alphas. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
like they haven't got a clue, but they're completely aware of the moment.
It's so strange because like me knowing him and being his cousin, growing up with him like he was my brother, I know he's not an alpha. I know like. No offense.
I have a cousin that I could say the same exact thing about.
Like, you could smack him around, there's nothing he'd do about it. He's all talk. Like, one of those, but, like, if you didn't know him, you would probably be afraid of him.
Yeah.
Like, beard, wears this, like, the biker leathers.
Uh-huh.
And he tells people he's in Hell's Angels. He's not. He doesn't even have a motorcycle. But,
see, to me, it's a shame, though. I pity that, though, because that's... whatever, I guess they say you shouldn't pity people or... But, you know, that masks a deep insecurity that you have to pretend to be something you're not, or create an external image of yourself to that degree.
Yeah. I mean, he has a history of that too, but, you know, I don't want to bash him too much. It's just his Snapchat is the greatest thing ever. Like, I wouldn't promote it if it wasn't, like, actually entertaining.
So it's really that good.
But he does it for entertaining purposes. Like, he doesn't do it, like, because he's being serious. Like,
okay.
I mean, that's seriously him.
Yeah.
But...
But that's his show.
Yeah, like, it's his show, exactly.
It's like a shout out. Like, you should watch this guy's show.
Yeah, you should watch this guy's show.
Okay, one more time. It's...
Faded True 44.
Faded True 44. I like the 44.
I don't know what the 44 means.
Wait, do I have to register on Snapchat in order to watch it?
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me? That's how it works?
There you go. You're hooked in, man. The AI has consumed you.
Yeah, that's okay. As Mark Maron famously said, I don't know how much time I have left.
Oh, I'm sorry. Faded True 89. I just
okay. Wait, now I have to go back to the last 3 times we said 44 and change it to 89. Faded True 89. No, I don't. I'll just cut out those times and replace it with Faded True 89.
89. Faded True 89.
Faded True 89. So was it 89? Was that the year that
he was born?
The year he was born?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Me too.
It's crazy. I was in 5th grade. 89.
Oh man. No, it's not that bad. Jen talks about we were talking about 9/11, and she was like, I was a freshman in high school. I was like, yeah, I was in 6th grade.
Yeah. Weird. That's such a long time ago now.
You're right.
Alright, so quick recap. You said that when you're working on the tooth...
As a dental assistant, we have CAD/CAM technology in our office, meaning that we prep the tooth for the crown. I do the scan, I design it, send it over to a mill, put a piece of porcelain a block of porcelain in the machine, cuts out a crown to my design. After you try it in the patient's mouth, if everything fits, the bite's okay, take it over to the furnace. I take that purple piece of porcelain and I put this glaze over it first. Then I take a stain. I look in the patient's mouth obviously first. Then it's purple when it comes out. I glaze it, then I stain it exactly how the other, the original teeth to match the crown. I'm murdering this right now.
No. I understand what you're saying. So you stain it. It has to be the color of the teeth. But what you're saying is that you stain it that it so perfectly matches the color of the other teeth.
Patients usually point out their original tooth and say, oh, that's the one you did, and they have no idea that mine's, or they say can't even tell. It happens all the time.
So you're a true artist when it comes to this.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you said was they want you to speak at seminars.
Yeah, so our sales reps, we go to these study clubs, and what it is, a bunch of doctors get together and they talk about cases they had, if they have problems, questions, or they just want to show off. And my boss goes to them all the time. He drags me along, and he has doctors. He they blow it up on the screen, and they're like, which one's the crown? And doctors can't even tell the difference because it's full of porcelain with my staining.
This is crazy.
And so I got some kind of like notoriety for it, and they like the company that sells these machines that make these crowns want me to speak at their seminars, but going back to my social anxiety, I refuse.
You just told them no, flat out no.
Don't I think about it and never touch base about it again.
Yeah, and you don't think you ever will?
Never say never, but
okay. Do you think that's something that if you didn't have a block, you would like to do?
I would love to do it. I love talking. I love like talking about things and like teaching people like things about something I'm pretty good at.
In what situation would doing that make you the most comfortable? Where you consider yourself actually doing that? Like how many people would have to be in the room? Say.
I don't think it's a matter of people in the room. And like not brag, not sound like pompous or anything like that, but like I know I'm good at what I do.
Oh sure.
And it's more the fact that I still feel because I'm new to this. I mean, this technology's been out for longer than I've been in the career. So like I feel it still too inexperienced to speak to these people who've been doing this for 10, 15 years about how to do this. And I've only been doing it for 3 years.
So wait.
I feel like I'm still not good enough to talk to people who already know about this.
Like who is this young buck that's trying to tell us? And you would come into it that's how they're viewing you or something.
Like I'm teaching you guys how to do something you've been doing for a decade.
Well, but maybe you are though. I mean that's
maybe I am, but I mean a lot of them have been doing this. They just need their CE credits, so that's why they show up.
Okay.
So I mean, I don't feel like a lot of them either really care to hear what I have to say. So again, why waste my time?
Oh, okay, I get you. So in the context of this thing is, they have to be there. To earn like. Okay.
And I wouldn't do well in a situation where I had, even like one person like going back and forth and being like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Why would you do that? And trying to pick apart everything I did to try to make me look dumb because like. In this field, that's all these people do.
Really? You think, oh, so that's you're going into that. That's going to happen.
Like, we went to a seminar.
Fuck that then.
Yeah, we went to a seminar about this doctor who was went to jail for 5 years for insurance fraud. There was, they had witnesses. They went to trial. This whole thing, and the person who actually got him sent to jail was the dentist that was down the road from him. It was a woman. They didn't like each other, and he said the reason why dentists have the most lawsuits against them, why they lose the most lawsuits, is because if you look at the medical field, if one doctor did something and you ask 100 other doctors, did this doctor do it wrong? They all have that solidarity to be like, yeah, he did it right. He did what he was supposed to do by the book. You ask one dentist, how do you do this filling? If you ask 100 dentists, you're going to get 100 different answers. So they all do something different, so that means the other guy's always wrong. And they're always out to get the other person. So that's how this field is. It's weird.
And then, who are the players in that? Is that the people that go to different dentists?
The players are the doctors themselves, really.
Okay.
Because they all, look at New Jersey. There's one dental school in the entire state.
Oh, really?
And they only let in, I think it's 100-something or 200-something students, a year.
Okay.
And so all these guys are going to school, and girls are going to school with each other for 8 years if they go to a specialty.
And so they all know each other.
They all know each other, and then they all try to compete and all try to stab each other in the back just to not even make more money, just to say, I beat you. In whatever way. Yeah, it's really weird.
That's the culture in dentistry in New Jersey. Is what
it's crazy. At least in the general area where I work. Don't want to talk about where that is, but yeah, all these guys know each other. They all like each other. We just opened another office, so all the dentists in town came by to say hello. They really just came to scope out the place.
What about really?
Yeah, they all come by and they all oh, what'd you get that for? Oh, where'd you get that? Oh, blah, blah, blah. Well, my guy could get this. It's just this constant competition.
What is it about dentists having the highest suicide rates?
Well, from what I heard, because I talked about it with actually the periodontist I work with, I brought that up to him. He said it's because a lot of dentists wanted to go to medical school and they couldn't get in. So they settled to be a dentist and they were miserable.
Okay.
So they're naturally all uptight people.
Right.
I mean, it's true. Everything they say about them.
What do they say about them?
Root canals don't really hurt.
Root canals don't really hurt?
Nope. Back in the day they used to. The technology out today, it's virtually painless.
Oh. I'll keep that in mind.
PSA.
Yeah, thank you. I'll keep that in mind if I ever need a root canal. Won't worry about it hurting.
Don't floss and brush. No.
Alright, I'll stop it, I promise.